What is good, rookies? What a end to a Saturday night. Just going to quickly get a mug up and just have a nice sip. What a game. What an absolute ripper game. It's the best game of the round. 100%. I'm obviously talking about Geelong v Collingwood. We were lucky. Very, very lucky. We will be getting Supercoach Pro on very, very shortly. But how is everyone going? Man, it has been a crazy round. Gawn as a captain, almost double ton. My goodness. Daniel Green, welcome in, mate. Thanks for joining. Legend, can't wait for this one. You said that at almost 6 o'clock. That's crazy. I love the dedication, Daniel. Thank you so much for being a member and hanging out. James Gawn, 198. How good? But it does look like Flynn is dropped. Yeah, look. It is pain because if you have Gawn and Flynn, it's kind of like a yes, Gawn. Especially if you captained him or VC'd him, you're like, yes, but then you're also like, Flynn, cash gen, gone. It's not happening. I'm doing well, mate. Doing well. Thank you, Daniel. Hope you are well. Hope everyone is surviving their Saturday night. If you need therapy, this is what we're here for. If you need to get on your high horse because your captain gone, let's go. Man, going to be some big scores again. Max projected 572. See on Max and Bowie screwed the 2620 projection looking good though. That is massive, mate. Absolutely massive. Lachlan, what is going on, mate? Thanks for joining in. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you know it's about to get wild. We've got the man backstage. The man that just is honestly going to give us a good run for his money this week because this man has got some superstars at his team. Supercoach Pro.
Yo, what's going on? I missed that first bit. I was just getting some massage, but something about my team.
Oh, mate, Mr. Marek, Mr. Long. You got Marshall, outscored TDK. It sounds like you're going to have a good week.
I think I will. I've got a few bad players still, but yeah, it's hard to really know because I've got Clark in my side as a player that scored a 58. I've also got Brayshaw, but I've also got a lot of pods that could play into my hand as well. How are you going for your side so far?
Look, I feel bad because like you have these other players popping off that I don't own. But when I look at the actual outlook of my team, I'm really in no position to complain. Like the lowest score I have on field at the moment is Lindsay's 56, and then you got Flynn's 52 and flex. But outside of that, a Sinclair 83, a Chera 82, Richards popped off for us with a 156, Track went off for a 130, Gawn a 198 for me as my captain, Rankin a 138. Like it's been a good week. So not complaining. Not that projections matter, but I'm sitting above 2,500. So I'm very happy at the moment.
Mine's sitting at 2628.
Oh, okay. Maybe I don't feel as good about mine. That's all right.
It's only because I had Gawn as captain, to be honest. I don't think that's any other reason other than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to try and keep up with your comments tonight, guys. Lots to talk about. Adam gave it the if me. That was unreal. I don't even like either of those clubs. Yeah, I mean, it's just more about the competitiveness of that game. Like it was an actual competitive game other than the Thursday and the Friday night games that we've seen. Like the first 4 games were all probably not worth sitting down for 2 hours and watching. Let's be honest. Whereas the last game, I mean, I did not check in to watch West Coast or Melbourne at any given point. It was just I was just watching Geelong Collingwood. It was such a good game. Max, oh my God, have Dacos, Sarong, Sinclair, or Spudding. What did Dacos end up finishing on?
88, I think.
Oh, really? That's good as a non-owner.
Yeah, same.
That's really good as a non-owner. Dangerfield fucking turned that game around though. Ned Long, 95. Solid. Where is he? Dacos, 88. Yeah, right. There you go. Pozza, how are you, mate? got around 1774 with 9 left, projected around the 520 mark. Lovely. Dodgy Malacca, would you get mad if you took Cherry VC over Gawn C?
No.
No, you can't get mad at the score. Like, let's be honest, Gawn has had a not so great run against West Coast, but we kind of knew coming up against Flynn would be a big score.
Yeah.
Like, I think you still got to be happy. I know it feels bad, but like Cherry's score of what he ended up scoring, it was like a 146. That's an amazing VC score. Like, it just looks less because of all these other big scores, but 146 is an amazing score for a VC. Studi projected 2486. I think that's very, very solid, mate. Steve, oh my god, Gord, don't own. Ouch. Yeah, the last 2 weeks, being a non-Gawn owner has hurt, unfortunately. Yeah. And he's just he's going to be very unreachable for a little bit more than Sherry. Of course, that has Hewitt on bench tonight as well. That's unfortunate. I think Hewitt was due to go off though. He's been playing very, very well. Have you got Hewitt, Elijah Hewitt?
Yeah, I've got him on my bench, so I fielded Lindsay over him and Ashcroft.
I don't know, shit.
Yeah. I least I got him though as a rookie.
Oh, that's what I mean. Is like, at least you have this like cash generating rookie, which, you know, you probably got at a much cheaper price, or especially if you held him through all the low starts of the season. Like, he's now just paying back. Yeah, it sucks not getting that score, but you've got that spot of a cash gen rookie where probably most, like myself, have a dead rookie on their bench. So that's still a win. That's still a massive win. Jack projected at 2602, and I didn't see Gawn. That's still good. If you got a 2602 and haven't captain Gawn, like, that's a big week. A massive week. James, projection of 2538, looking good for a good boost up in the ranks this week. Yep. Corey, VC Gawn for me. Lovely. James, 2667 predicted after captain Gawn.
Wow. That's huge. Anything over 2.6, you're going to climb.
Yeah. 100%. Pufferfish, where is Brad? Taking the piss, mate. Legit. He always does. He's like, I'll be on in a minute. And he's got to do his toilet break and prep himself to skull him the Shashi on stream.
The balls are too big.
Wow. James was going to do C on Max, but took Merritt's 172, which would be stupid not to. 100%. If you had Merritt's VC, there's no world you're not taking that.
Yeah, I was going to VC Merritt, but then I got the game times confused with Thursday and Friday night.
Oh, true. There you go. Whoops. The man, the myth. Yes, he's here. JG, how are you, mate? Hope you're going well. Thanks for hanging out with us. That is, I'll take that as a compliment. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been here before, this is the After Dark stream where this is not like any other Supercoach stream that you've seen. It gets wild, it gets off topic, a therapy session, but also a session that you will need therapy from. So, you know, catch 22, I guess.
Literally.
Matthew had it. No, Tom Stewart had a Supercoach channel. Well, he does. He does. You know, he got laid out. Was a bit, the knee's been bugging me. Chris Scott said, go find something to do with your night. And I said, fine, I'll go do a stream.
I
tried. If you guys noticed, go.
I tried to convince the missus today when we were watching the West Coast and Melbourne game that if I grew long hair, I'd look like Petrarca. And she turned around and was like, that will never be you. And she's like, I'd choose him over you. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to watch this game and cry. Yeah.
I'm just imagining that Wolverine like photo where he's holding the photo. It's just you holding a photo with Petrarca.
Yeah, it is. Just the fingertips over the face.
Yeah. And for those that has noticed, George Hewitt is still here with me. Where is he? He's on this side. He's still here, unfortunately. Yeah, we're gonna have to find someone else to replace that with. So if you guys got any suggestions for next stream, let me know. Daniel, looking like I'll get a decent score this week after 2 absolute horror trades. Can't believe I traded Oliver to Sardis and Moraes to Flynn. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, we didn't expect Flynn to do this bad because he actually did decently against Gawn the last time they had a matchup.
What were your trade-ins? Have you gone over them today?
My trade-ins?
Yeah.
I have not gone in. So my trade-ins were, I traded out Oliver and Clay Hall for
Yep.
track and Huss weight. So first one that's played, track, big tick, got a 130. Again, it was more, I could have gone Dawson as well. It was either track or Dawson this week, but I was literally just playing the break-even game.
Yeah.
And a 130 on a break-even of 70 versus, what did Dawson get, a 160 odd?
150 or something,
Or
155.
150? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Let me have a quick look. Where is this game? Here it is. Yeah, versus Dawson's 156 on a 104 break even, I believe. Yeah, it was just a break even game. But so far, so good with the
Yeah.
trades. And you ended up, just to remind the people at home, what did you do for your trades?
I was a bit sneaky, so I was looking at playing the percentages here, and I bought in Rowan Marshall for TDK. Obviously, I don't have the crystal ball, but Rowan Marshall went 112, TDK went 80, his lowest score. I then used that money to go upgrade Oliver to Petrarca and bank 97,000 for next week. So by playing the value route, I can do one upgrade next week from Ashcroft to a Chad Warner or anyone at that price point, like a Jack Steele or something. So I kind of was thinking of going Neil, but I didn't need to do that, or else if I had have gone that way, I wouldn't have been able to upgrade next week. So it's amazing that if you go too expensive, like we saw Dacos, people bringing him at 640k this week, it then hinders your trades further on. So I went value as well and thought Petrarca would have a big game.
Yep. Love it.
Yep.
Very good. Pufferfish, can't believe I don't have Gawn. I'm fuming. Projected 24-20 without, so not sure how to feel. This is like the thing though, right? The last 2 weeks, any other given week, really, you take the 24-20 as a projected. You know, like that's a great projection. Like we've just had this run over the last week or two where there have been some massive spike scores and, you know, some really solid VCs and Cs along with that, where it kind of makes these numbers not feel as good as they generally should.
Yep.
So it's a bit annoying, but more annoying as a non-owner of Marek, a 131 from this absolute pig.
Yeah.
And you've got him.
I've got him as well. I traded in for Horn Francis. I put the money from that into Marek and Humphrey and got rid of Horny Man. Humphrey failed, but Marek is sort of paid off. So it's kind of a win-win, I suppose, in this sense.
Yeah. That's something I think it's like, definitely at least balanced out in regards to that. Like this is because you got cash in out of it and you're getting good scores on field, really.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
And you've pretty much balanced out some other areas of your team. Like your team's flying because of it too. I guess let's like play it all together here. Your team is flying because it's very balanced and you don't have like a weaker line. Like it's not like you've toughened up your defense to have more rooks on field elsewhere. Like you're very, very balanced. And that has kind of come from moving Horn Francis down to what was a Humpty Dumpty and Marek. And then you were able to flip, Dumpty into whoever you did the other week. And it's just paid off. So it's been really, really solid trades in all honesty.
Even Ned Long this week, like he went 94 and he's my M7. So he outscored Dacos this week, which I never would have thought would have happened, a fortnight ago. So that's interesting as well. I've just taken the right punts, but I've also traded SSP out like a month before all those tons. So you kind of, if you're facilitating upgrades, it's okay to get rid of rookies a tad early, but it does suck when they go big.
That's what I mean, though, is you kind of, as soon as you trade them out, though, you can't, unless it's, there's an exception to this, but I'll get to that. As soon as you move on from a rookie, it's best to just not like try to get tied up in it. Like I traded out Reed instead of Pryor. Worst mistake. Worst mistake. But I'm okay with what I did because it facilitated other things.
Yeah.
And that rookie's gone from my team now. Whatever he scores doesn't actually affect me realistically. Like, yes, the cash gen would have been nice and et cetera, et cetera. But overall, I'm happy where my team's sitting. So I take that as the win and try not to get caught up in that mental game of like,
I did the same. I got rid of Reed over Trainer. You just can't foresee these things either. A fortnight ago, it was a 50-50 call.
And it was always a 50-50 call with Reed and Pryor as well each week. Because you're like, who do I field? And then you get it wrong, and then you flip it the next week, and then it's wrong again. It's like, okay. So we'll see how at this rate, I might have to keep Pryor. Like, Flynn is probably going to get dropped, and I'm going to have to trade him out instead.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So we'll see what happens. Gets Fits, welcome in, mate. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. The umps absolutely robbed the Pies the game. Even as a Catters man, that was pretty rough. Some of the calls in that last few minutes were very, very rough. So I don't know. I don't know if this is karma coming back for all the frees that you've been getting for the last 10 years. Unbalanced. But
I didn't see the game, so I feel disappointed because I was on stat watch for West Coast and Melbourne. So I'm glad you looked at the other game because then I can get a bit of insight.
yeah, there we go. It was a really good game, honestly. Like, you couldn't, like, Collingwood, like, they're such a good team.
Yep.
Such a good team. JCR, someone's not happy. Rookie A, Sinclair owner, I am. I pretty much, when Stewart went down, so when he scored that 9, I traded him out that week. Again, he's the only primo of sideways, but I predicted that the injury was going to linger, and I thought I'd rather not do it. So I used him as a stepping stone to get Sinclair. Got a few good scores out of him for like 2 weeks, and he's been very, very subpar. We could probably go into Sinclair in particular because I know a few people are either looking to bring him in or are looking at what to do with him because he's been very average of late. So we'll have a look at that a little bit later. Sturdy Bont was a good get this week for Oliver. Solid.
Yeah.
Very, very solid. Pufferfish also reckons robbed right in front of me.
It couldn't happen to a better team.
It couldn't. It really couldn't. It's chef's kiss almost. Chef's kiss. Daniel Green currently on 2007 with Bice, Whitfield, Callahan, Short, Trainer, and Dow still to come. Very nice. Dow's been a sneaky little good player for you. Like, he hasn't set the world on fire, but he also hasn't sunk the ship. So do love that for you. SW, do you guys reckon a big bad Matty Flynn is in some job security danger after being tossed around by Gawn?
Yep.
Well, yes. How do you think the Archer Reed injury concern? Because didn't Archer Reed go down?
Yeah, he did, but he came back on the field. So I think what they might do is they might play Finn and Bailey Williams potentially, or Flynn's just going to get chopped for BJ Williams. So yeah, it's concerning. Like, we got the 2 weeks that we needed out of him anyway to make over 100,000. So if you look at it that way, it's okay. It also means you could probably grab a Romo or something, like a player that's come down in price won't be too far from his price point anyway.
Yep, fair enough. Got in, not David Bowie, and it hurt.
Oh.
Yeah, look, after having such a consistent year, this is his first absolute stinker, and you paid top dollar for him too. And that it sucks. Like, there was so much logic behind the pick too.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, right? Is outside of hindsight, there are always sound logic behind these sort of trades.
Yep.
It's just, as you said, I'm pretty sure you said in one of our chats, half the game is luck.
Yep.
Really.
50% of it. Yep. Agreed.
Yep. Like, you can't get it right sometimes. So it is what it is. Gawn Gawn had tonight 35 disposals, 8 marks, 47 hitouts. A couple contested possessions, 9 clearances. 9 clearances for Gawn, Jesus. 4 clangers, 71 DE. 9%. Oh, that's great. I wanted that double ton. 2 points off. But he had 72%.
Do you know what I was going to do if the player double tons? I was going to shave my head like Gawn.
Damn it.
Yeah.
There was more on the line than what I thought.
Imagine if you get scaling now. I'm going to have to shave my head on the stream.
I'm waiting for it. But I think Petrarca got scaled down 1 to 129.
Still pretty good for a guy we paid 497,000 for. This was last week's move in hindsight again.
And that's what I mean is I should have got Track last week.
So
I could get Dawson this week. I would have been in a much better position.
Yeah. Yep.
But I also think that it is what it is. Like, I went early on Cleary and he's been absolutely great outside that 130 score. But it is what it is. Hindsight's hindsight.
100%.
Flynn probably Gawn next week. I love to play on words. Very nice. Hewitt brought back in last week. That's what I mean. If you brought him in last week, you brought him in because you had faith in the cash gen and the on-field points. So I'm surprised he didn't field him, Causa. But hey, you got the cash gen. So it's a 50-50 win. BMI. Projected 25. Hard to judge if that's going to be a good score or below the mark. So many players going big, then big names going below 100. Well, this is the thing, right? I think what we're seeing is a bit of a slightly different week to last week. Last week we had all of the probably more high ownership players pop off and have big spike scores.
Yep.
Whereas this one we're having some more unique names go big. Like you had Ed Richards go for 156.
Yep.
Me and you are both owners, and there's only 1% ownership on him.
Yeah, that's huge for us.
That's massive for us. You know, yes, you have Sinclair that kind of hurt me being an owner, and he's somewhat low ownership. I've got Newcomb, so depending on how he goes, like if he goes off against Richmond, like I'm going to be in such a good position.
Yeah.
Gawn was low ownership in the top 5%. You know, Rankin's not totally fully owned yet. Like there's just a few of these players. And then Dawson, some people hopped off as well. Like it's just one of those things. I mean, Crouch going out was probably a big signal. And we were speaking about this before. Is it like, hey, we could bring in Dawson, but we kind of want to see it before we get him in. And I think we've seen enough.
His break even was 103, so we're playing the break even game, which is the most logical thing to do. So we're playing it safe.
Yep.
And then you can't foresee 150 coming out. But the actually concerning thing for Dawson is in the last quarter they played him forward. He only had one CBA in the last quarter, so he got this high score this week. Do they play him forward from now on while Crouch is out and play Saligo and all those other players in the guts like Sam Berry, etc.? So yeah, I'm not sure what the goal is now with Dawson. I'm actually looking at Warner's fixture looks good if after the Bedford tag, or potentially even like a Jack Steele for Ashcroft at 470k could be a bit of a play as well. I've got a few ideas.
I don't mind the Jack Steele. I don't mind the Jack Steele. It looked like he's finally turning a corner.
Yep.
With his form. He's had a slow start to the year, but this is the thing with all these primos, right? Is like they eventually turn a corner.
Yeah.
That's why you don't sideways, because if you go to primo, just hold them, because they're going to turn at some point. They always do. Like Sarong's going to be cheap, and he's going to turn. I'm not really looking at Sarong because of the fixture. Like I'm also going like big picture. Like cool, if I want to look at these primos, what's their fixture looking like towards the end of the season? Yeah, they got multiple tag games coming in, yada yada yada. Like that big picture stuff. Kevin, bad week. Clark, Brayshaw, Dacos, Sinclair, Rosie, Chera, all spudding. No Gawn. Yeah, it's a bit rough. I didn't pick Clark going poorly.
Yeah, neither did I. Sorry, I was zoned out a little bit. Yeah, he went shit house.
Big Will Mushashi, come on.
He went shit house for me too. I couldn't believe he scored a 58. But I've actually realised this year I haven't been caught up in like emotional side of Supercoach. I've actually been pretty chill. I'm like, okay, I can't change that. What am I doing? Like it's, 90% you play good, 10% you play shit, but you can't see these bad scores. Like everyone's going to drop a poor score at some point.
That's exactly it though. It's like, I was having a good conversation with one of the good members in my community, Ghosty. He'll know exactly who I'm talking about. And it's like these players that, when we look at like the analysis side of things, not every team that is non-competitive, no matter who they are, it could be a Sarong and Brayshaw, if they're not competitive in that game, as in overall from a team perspective, they're not probably going to they're not going to score well.
Yeah.
Whereas like a Richards in a competitive team went massive.
Correct.
So you might have 3 players that score 160s because in that match their team was competitive, versus you have 4 players from other teams in uncompetitive matches that usually would score you a 110 that just stink it up because the game was blown out.
That's like Port Adelaide. Like Port Adelaide players didn't score very well, like Rosie for myself, because they got pumped by the Dogs. But on the flip side to that, a lot of Dogs players scored well. So sometimes it's best not to have too many players from the one side, because if those one-sided demolitions can really hurt scaling.
And that's it, right? You bring in too many and you're like, okay, if that team gets stumped, like I'm taking 3 hits. I'm taking a hit in the defensive if I've got a Clark, 2 in the mids because I've got Brayshaw and Sarong or whatever it might be.
Yep.
So very good shout. Green has bench scores of 60, 74, 37, 32, 44. Cleary still yet to play, but on bench. Try to find the silver lining here. That just screams cash gen for the most part. So you're in a good position. If that's your bench scoring those numbers, there's cash gen there.
Yeah,
most likely. Maybe not the 37 and the 32s, but there's still some cash gen there to be had, which is, again, part of the long-term game is, can you keep your upgrade cadence going? Where
Yep.
most people have at least 2 to 3 dead rooks permanently there until probably mid-season draft at this rate, because no one's putting their hand up. Goza, Marek, 433 next week with a break-even of 37. You can't trade into him now. No way.
Nah, he's going to be more accountable with Govan out as well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Stuart, my call to go Ned Long over Matt Flynn may have been a better move purely because of job security. Yeah, pretty much. If you had to, I mean, hindsight for sure. But I don't think any of us saw Flynn getting the absolute slogging that he got tonight from Gawn.
No, and we only needed 2 weeks from Flynn anyway. If it would have been disaster if Flynn owners like myself, he had been dropped last week. Sorry, this week, and he didn't play against Gawn. But the fact that he got a 50, whatever it was, I think he still makes, I don't know, 50K potentially. So in 2 weeks, he still made you 120,000. So there's no real loss in it, really. Like we took our punt. Who cares? Like we'll take a form primo for 60 grand difference. It's a win for Flynn owners, to be fair.
100%. And that's what I mean. That's the only reason, like, we didn't get on him to, like, we were hoping we get 3-4 out of him to get a decent price rise, but we were like, hey, you definitely get 2 and make at least 100K in that trade, which is generally around the worth of a trade, essentially, or an upgrade. So it works out. Hewitt, 274 next week with a break-even of 7. Again, do you try? Yeah, you can't pick up these people for their elevated prices. Yes, the break-even looks good. Yes, there's no one really screaming. Like, but Bevo just showed he's still capable of bevoing players for us, unfortunately, with Buslinger. But in the same token of that, we now have Boxshall that looks like a decent one that we might have to pivot to if we want to do any upgrades next week.
Agreed.
So we'll have to pivot to that, unfortunately. Should get Nathan Kruger on stream and match up with Tom Stewart. What a guess that would be, hey?
Yeah, true that. Up and about.
Oh, actually, I've had rumours through work that I should be going to the Geelong and Western Bulldogs game.
Yep.
And apparently in our corporate box, we're going to be having Zach Tui with us.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay. So we'll have to get a little picky for the community.
You and him are friends anyway because you're Stuart, so.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, we're still going to catch up like old buds. But, yeah, it is what it is. Jack, completely reversed week for me. Brayshaw, mid, both Dawson and Dale going off. I mean, Dale, the writing was kind of there a little bit because he's always played well at Mars. Always. And again, if you went from a Dale to a Bont, still think that's a win because Dale will most likely spud it up next week. But again, it's that real. If you weren't going Dale to Butters or Bont, hopefully you didn't go to a Dacos. But if you did, hopefully this is your lesson not to sideways. Because it happens all the time. Happens all the time. Gawn next week is 686 with a break even of 32. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. JCR, George Hewitt's still turning up. Don't talk to me, JCR. I don't want to hear it. He's still doing it. I hate it. Worth going Flynn up to Gawn. I don't know anymore. No,
he's out of your price point. Just go Romo.
No,
Jump on Rowan Marshall train with me, Puffer.
Oh yeah, literally get in Romo. Romo's going to still make cash. Gawn will eventually come down.
Yep.
But you'll just have to wait. Just like we're waiting for Bont and Butters. Like, Butters is going to come down soon now because he didn't do too great today either.
You know who we're waiting for now? Dacos.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I mean. There's like Dacos, he had his high and now he's going to come back down to earth. Merritt is not going to come down as much as what I would hope with this spike score in his system.
Yep.
So that's annoying, but it's the Dons. So he can put up a sneaker anytime. Sanday gets 120 against his old side. Can you put him on your background? Bet. If Sanday goes...
You won't even get 80.
He won't. But if Sam Day does go 120, I'll put him as my background. Dale, it's not going to happen, but just for shits and gigs. James Dale 124 about time. Yeah, and this is the thing. He'll do it this week, and then next week he'll give you a 75.
Yep.
Can't believe my midfield this week. High score is 91 in Hewitt. There you go. Brayshaw, Sarong, Rosie, Dacos, Chera. Got the Chad to come. The Chad. I don't know how it's. I mean, you were big on Chad for most of the week, and then you had a slight pivot. It was just that Bedford tag that kind of scared you off, essentially, wasn't it?
That's the only thing that scared me off, really. Sydney's fixtures for inside mids are probably one of the best in the competition. Same with Giants. Collingwood, I think, have a lot of green matchups. And there was a couple other sides, and that's why I was really keen for Warner. But I just think he gets tagged by Bedford. But the next 4 games after Giants look really good for me. So I'm keen for his run. It just depends. If he scores under 80, I might wait a couple of weeks just for him to come down a little bit more. If he gets tagged to 40, it's crazy because now I'm looking at Shai Bolton at some point because he scored a 5. He's going to be like, I don't know, under 400K in about 3 weeks' time. So I'm looking at these guys to use as a M9, F7 loop potentially.
Yeah, Bolton's going to be very, very cheap.
Yep. Look at his scores before he did that 5 as well. It was actually decent.
Have a look, shall we? I'll get up on the screen first before we.
And for Matthew, while you're doing that, for Matthew, I'll shave my head if Sam Day goes 120. No worries at all.
Jeez, we got a big bet on. Not that it's ever going to happen. Sorry, Matthew, but I want Bolton, don't I? Shai Bolton. Let me jump to this. There we go. Oh, I need to share. I lost it. Give me a minute, ladies and gentlemen.
This is like me every time, but it takes me so long to do it.
I ate some extra crayons today.
Yeah, my crayons, did you?
Yeah. So he got a 5, 102, 115, 89. 80. He's been so consistent this year.
Yeah.
He's been he's like that perfect loop option for sure.
Literally.
No, I like it. Very good. Very good. Before we move on to Steve's comment, I will say for those 9,900 odd people that are here with us, thanks for joining in, guys. I know it's the usual stream on Saturday nights, the after dark, where things get hectic and you get your therapy session and traumatic experiences all wrapped in one. While you're here, just make sure you give this stream a like to show us that you do love the content. We'll have a plethora of guests, but as mentioned through any stream, you can always expect Brad to be around, just lurking like Homer Simpson in his background.
Yep.
Puffer, Brad, why do you look like you want to jump me and get in Tom Stewart's getaway car with my broadcast wallet?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I don't even understand that.
McLovin, 2,700 projection. VC Cherry as well. Could have been bigger with Gawn or Merritt VC.
Wow.
Big week for you, McLovin. Love that.
Yeah.
Get the bank account ready. Yeah, you're going to be a contender for top score this week, I bet. Sinclair doesn't want to come into our teams. Going to have to wait for him to drop price in another week or two now. It's not a horrible thing. Like, again, you want to try and play that value game. And at this point, he's done like 3 games now around this mark. He probably very much like a Dawson situation. You probably want to see him turn it around.
If he bottoms out at 500K, I don't even need the satisfaction to do a turnaround. I just know he will at some point. Like that's the thing with these players. Like you just kind of, like you were saying before, they're going to do it, so you may as well jump on it. They're bottomed out price.
Yeah, exactly. Skits Bits, Travalia sub really ruined my trades this week. So annoying. Yeah, so from memory, I think I saw you comment or post something, Skits. I think you brought in like a Sandy Brock or something like that. You brought in a dud, the Cop Breed score or something like that, because you're worried that Travalia was going to play. So that just stings. Like he wouldn't. Again, it happened with what was it? Trainer? Who was that sub that came on for?
Yeah, Trainer. Yep.
Yeah, and then Ross actually did the sensible thing and just let him run laps afterwards instead of actually copping a 0. So, yeah, that's just a really unfortunate situation.
Great.
Someone's going 3,000 this week, surely. I think they'll get close. Has there been any 3,000 scores in Supercoach? in your time playing?
Not sure. I've only competitively played since having a channel. Before that, I used to just play for the weekly.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, one of those teams that you trade in, you try to get all your.
Sorry, did you hear
Yes,
that?
we all heard that.
That was me. Yeah, so that's all right.
No, you're right, mate. You're right. Gawn projected 112. They're garbage. Yeah. So, guys, JJ has a real tough relationship with projections because they build his hopes up, and he gets really heartbroken when they're not true. It's just, yeah. So let's just all give thoughts out to JJ in this hard time.
Literally.
I think Humphrey can take off the rest of the season with more midfield minutes. What if he does turn around for the rest of the season and just goes nuts?
I'll probably be punched drywall.
I think JJ would probably. JJ would beat you to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'll turn around. Since he got a haircut, he played better, though. That makes sense.
Yeah, he's worried about actually the bald and, his bloody hair.
Literally. I'm almost finished this with Sashi as well.
Oh, there we go. Ghosty goes back. So, how you going, mate? Thanks for coming in. Hey, lads, big game for this, but see everyone's projected score. It makes me think I'm dropping ranks this week. Had Brayshaw, Dacos, Rosie, Clark, Pal Pepper, Chera, Flynn, and fielded Lindsay. Yeah. That's what I mean. There's in a normal week leading into that, you would have thought that would have been a very strong setup. And it should be. It generally should be. That should be a very well scoring setup. One of those weeks, man. Can't all have good weeks back to back to back to back to back and climb ranks and get green arrows every week. There's going to be weeks where they just doesn't happen. Mikey ended up taking Carroll score instead of trainer. Didn't want to risk the sub risk. Ned Long, my best decision this year. Yeah. I think everyone can thank Supercoach God for the glazing of Ned Long to get him in your team.
100%. That's why I bought him in last week, because of him.
There we go. Single-handedly saving teams. I heard Bailey Humphrey is getting a tattoo as a Supercoach. Single-handedly rigged the game.
5 goals in that game for him.
Yeah, that's nuts. Burner 77, a 198, 174, 172, last 3 C scores. The difference from having a good or bad week, especially being ranked in the top 1K. Solid captaincy options, mate. And 100% that's true. I literally, the last 2 weeks, so this week and last week, my captaincies have been great with Gawn. Before that, I had some very average captaincies, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Marek, only 37% owned. The top 10%. How good? Very good. I'm going to assume that's Chera. A trade now for Dacos for around 120k. I mean, you'd have to hold Chera until Dacos bottoms out again. I'm assuming. Yep. Yeah. Marek F6 at this rate. Yeah, there's no need to move him on. You literally hold him until he's stopped scoring as well. You wouldn't look to trade him out at max cash, would you? You'd hold him until that scoring stops.
I'm going to bank him out at about 500k, because once McGovern comes back and whatever, I don't know. I just don't think he's going to be top 6. I don't know. Even with the round 12 players coming in for DPP, we might find Traw had 46% game time up forward. We might find other players better than him. He's kind of been doing 80s all week, and so I was expecting him to have a few spike games with this week, then Richmond, and then St Kilda. And then after that, I'll probably pivot him once he's sort of hitting his break even at what he averages.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You can kind of make the call when it's needed. If he's giving you 95s and then gets to a max out, and you can go, maybe you got a track stuck in your midfield. I'll have track in my midfield for a little bit until I don't have, until I got the moves to fill that, forward line and stuff like that. So I'd hold Marek there until you can flip a primo into there, or do a quick trade.
Yep.
Flynn says will get dropped. What are you smirking at, Brad? I see that smirk. What are you reading?
I'm reading ahead with Pufferfish. We had a conversation, and he was like, "Don't trade at Marek." So I was like, "Oh, maybe I could see what I can get with his money." So yeah, he did persuade me to say, "Don't do it." I was just I look at every possible option, even if it means going early on a fat and rookie. So that's why I was looking at Pufferfish. The most recent comment that he had put down there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Forward line all puffed off. Solid scores, mate. 138,
Yeah.
111, 129, 160, 89. Awesome stuff, mate. So that's what I mean. Is like you might feel bad about some other areas in your team, but like that's a forward line, and that's a big week for a forward line.
Yeah.
Massive. I think Brad just wants a reason to shave his head at this rate. 100% he does, Matt. Brad wants any reason to change his hair. There was a Luke Ryan thing last year. It's it's a double ton this year. He'll probably lower the odds as the season goes on, though. If Marek gets a 90. Oh.
If Tom Stewart doesn't get injured, I'll shave my head.
Yeah. Oh, if Chris Scott has it laid out. Oh. I think Marek's white hair is a result of the large amounts.
Probably a lot to do with mine, pufferfish.
Oh, it makes sense why I used to get along so well now. Brad is top 100 debut this week. I mean, could be on the cards.
I don't know, actually. That's a hard call, to be honest. I've no idea.
What are you currently ranked?
357. I thought you were saying that because of the JG thing a couple of weeks ago.
Why can't it be both?
But true. I think I'm 100 points away from top 100. Ben from Insider was saying.
There you go. That's awesome. That's massive.
Yeah,
very, very
makes
good.
Me nervous.
That's good, bro. As I said, your team's looking really strong. So I don't think you'd have to make some really horrible trades to mess up your squad at this point.
True.
Like it's almost on autopilot at this point. So good. It is. As long as you don't trade out like primos, you'll be fine.
Yeah, true that.
Gawn VC can't take it. Would you trade in a donut to take it?
Oh, I kind of would at this point for a 198. You'd want it to be a player that you know is going to play in the next week or two, though.
Sandy Brock is probably what I go to. Like he might have a chance of coming back in with McGovern out.
Yeah, that's a shout actually.
Like if you've got room in defense to like maybe you've got I don't know who you would have in the back line at the moment that hasn't played, but yeah.
That's a hard one.
A very hard one. James, I don't know who to get next week out of all the players I want. We'll have high break evens. Like I wanted Sinclair or Dacos, but probably not anymore. Play the value game, mate. This is where it's like, okay, yeah, you play that, break even game. You still want to play that value where it's like, okay, do you just fix cash gen? Like if you really want Dacos, wait for him. Don't bring in someone else to hold his spot.
Yeah.
Waste that trade. Like if you don't like Dawson in any capacity and you feel like he's probably the only person you could upgrade to next week, unless you really want him and you're happy to have him in for the rest of the season, don't get him. Just do some rookie corrections, or if you didn't get Huswaite this week, get him next week, and maybe go box shoulder to move some dead weight around, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But we've seen with like this whole thing. I think if you can avoid getting box shoulder next week, do it because we saw some people went early on Buslinger, and then it was announced that he's sub, and people had to reverse their trades and potentially move different things around, or bring in a Sandy Brock to still keep their primo or whatever it might be. So, yeah. Yep, very good. Yep. Is it worth trading Chera to Dawson next week? Also, Palpepper and Levi to Rankin. I'm not sure if there's anything else. So I can't see anything else attached to that message. I wouldn't be trading Chera just yet.
No, neither. Like that Carlton game was hard for even Hewitt. Like Hewitt only scored like a 101 as well. So I just think the Adelaide Oval playing away, it was a little bit tougher for some of those players. Like even TDK didn't turn up. Like there's so many of those Carlton players didn't do well. But their fixture also coming up is pretty good. Like I don't hate it. Because they've got a few MCG and Marvel games in the next 4 games. They're playing only 1 interstate game. So I think they're fine.
And that's exactly it, right? I think the plan was always to hold Chera to the bye and then, potentially make a move. Or, if you're holding past that, if you've got the facilities to do that in round 13, you then move him to someone else you wanted in round 12, like your Bont or your Butters, something like that, potentially. Jack, can we also give some appreciation to Ryan Marrick, bro popped off? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of glazing sessions. Tunstall, Armstrong, C-grade, good options. There you go, good shout. Raked at 900 odd. Would you trade in? Yes, very, very much what we've just spoken about. Projecting just ever so quickly. I'm at 25.26. And Brad, you're at?
2,627.
There we go. Ross, glad I didn't trade in Dutton this week. Not good job security. Yeah, there we go. Very good. Flynn owners will be spending 3 trades on him. Must be hurting. Yeah. Cash gen. It's an upgrade, most likely. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the amazing thing that could happen is that he holds his spot.
Yeah.
Like maybe McWalter doesn't go, oh, we're not going to do the swap and change out. We're going to give him a run. Because again, the comparison is he did a 140 to a 55 or whatever it was against one of, if not the best ruckman in the last 5 years.
And you're playing Gawn, so like even if BJ Williams was playing him, they would have known coming into this week that Gawn's going to get to smash whoever they play. So they're not really going to base it. You wouldn't think of this. Like I know the hitouts were very one-sided, but like what are you meant to do? Surely they had a backup plan of trying to win, trying to shark Gawn's tap outs because both their ruckmen were never going to have a good day against Gawn. But I wasn't expecting a 50. It's probably maybe a 70 or 80 potentially, but if he plays next week, we're laughing, to be fair.
And that's what I mean is like, don't make a call on Flynn until you know if he's dropped. Like, if he's dropped, then sure, move him on. But until that's confirmed and it's on the team sheets, hold him. Because he's still got cash to make. Even with the 55, he's still going to make more cash because who's he got next week?
Richmond. I'm going to that game.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, so he's got Nank. And Nank leagues points at the moment. So it'll be fine. I hope that wink was to me, mate.
It wasn't sneaky enough, was it?
Yeah.
No,
Busted.
Yeah, man.
Busted. Yeah. So that's the head shave. I need to get a defender rookie off field. Have Zorko, Whitfield, Sheasel. I don't know who to get now. Out of Zorko. So he has those 3. I mean, Naz looks good.
Yeah. He dropped the 97, but that was in a... Oh, actually, I would have thought he would have got more actually in a win.
Nah, but this is, again, like, this is... A 97 for Naz is perfect because this is more about what you actually expect. And consistency-wise, he's got a 96. So he actually got scaled up to... Oh, sorry, what was he? Yeah, 97. A 96 is his lowest score this season.
Yeah, so it's a good pick.
He's a great pick. So I would go Naz if you didn't have high hopes on Sinclair.
Do you think he comes down in price? Because he's about 577 at the moment.
I mean, he had to break even at 130. Well, let's do
because I have all the defenders.
So it should be around the 560 mark, and then he'll have a break even in the 120s next week. So you actually could be able to pick him up. So let's just say he does a 105 next week against Carlton. You could probably pick him up for about 550 before his West Coast game.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to.
Or you could go Carl Amon once he comes back from concussion.
Don't mind it.
Yeah, other than that, probably right about Naz call out of all those picks that I'm looking at as well.
Yeah. I would have said Clark, but this week is a real nap.
Yeah, no, hey.
Clark will be very cheap soon.
Oh, yeah. Him and Zorko have gone cheap as like I started both of them and now they're so cheap. So yeah, it's annoying. All these players, like we've alluded to, like the Bonds, the Butters, they will all do the same at some point. Maybe not as high as these guys, but they'll get there sometime.
Yeah, exactly. Neil or Dunkley this week? Who would you grab?
Neil, definitely.
All right, I'm going to go Dunkley because he's my boy. Surely this wing time doesn't stick. It's not working.
Yep.
It's not working for him. Who's the next downgrade target? It's probably Boxall at the moment. No one else has really put their hand up.
Hurstwaite, if you haven't already gone him.
Oh, yeah, Hurstwaite, yeah. Sorry, that's the correct answer. It's Hurstwaite if you didn't go early on him.
Yep.
Week by week, stinker by stinker. Top 4 mid score on 89. Yep, love that. So apparently Yaron thinks the top score that we've seen ever in Supercoach is a 3,011.
Wow.
On the bright side, trades this week were Stewart, Davidson, and Moraes out for Dawson, Track, and Husway. That's massive trade-ins.
Wow. Yeah.
Absolutely massive.
Wow.
Stuck fielding Humphrey, so hopefully he keeps crushing it. Fingers across for you, Connor.
Yeah, definitely.
Merrick F1 by Pufferfish.
Wow.
Love that. Not waiting till Mag drops a low one, upgrading to a top gun. Yeah, totally fair. Thoughts on Tom Mitchell for I don't think Tom Mitchell's coming back.
I'm surprised he's still on a list.
Yeah. Just skip my question. What question was that, Matthew?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I did not see it, mate. So apologies. Sometimes it doesn't come through. But yeah, not waiting. Just get my question. We are slowly getting through these ones as well, guys. So we are probably we're catching up slowly. About 10, 15 minutes behind on questions. So we are getting there. Lizard King, passing on Marek and taking Flynn over Gawn post-bar rounds is haunting me. Yeah,
it's
unfortunate.
rough.
That is very rough. I mean, look, I didn't get Marek. I didn't go long. It's one of those tough ones, but I'm doing all right. But we'll just see. I just need to get this dead weight off my bench at this point. JJ, I reckon I'll go value and go Pryor, Levi and Flynn to Marshall, Geordie Clark and Boxall.
Yeah, he's going the Marshall train. Get on board. I was a week early on this, and Marshall outscored TDK by 32 points. That's a bloody crystal ball win there.
Yeah. Puffer is wild. I'm convinced this is like Jonas Goat's burner.
I'm convinced they're the same person. Yeah, same.
Yeah, they are, 100%. Cos is playing you in the OG league.
Yeah, wow.
There you go. Durham scored. JG always with the drive-bys. Bring in Coleman. I mean, Coleman's a shout too when he eventually, hopefully he does enough in the VFL and stays together enough to actually be an option.
Yep.
Might have to get... He's lock and loaded. He's ready to go. I think I'm getting tracked for 520 next week. I'll be getting Dawson for around the same. Kai, what's good, mate? Welcome in. Effectively 5 150s if you include the double for captain and still behind for the round. That's crazy. Yeah. That's mean can't unfortunately have a team of 5 players going, like 150s and the rest be spudding it up. Never going to work, unfortunately. Puffer, if I get rid of Pryor, I'll need a backman. Do I get Bustling or is there another rookie? Or do I just go up to a primo instead of mental? I mean, Bo Allen? What did Bo Allen do?
Well, I don't know. I barely even saw him in that game.
Let's have a look. You got a 36. Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, it's not negative 12.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's right.
It's an improvement. That's an improvement. O'Brien smashed TDK. Sure did, but TDK will bounce back. Flynn to a mid, got 200k in the bank. Who would you say is good value? I mean, there's still a few more games to go, so I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow because we still have Sydney, Giants, Hawks, Richmond, Brisbane, and Gold Coast. So you've still got a lot of mid options that could fall potentially. So just wait until we get round. This is how I approach it. I don't really make any plans. Like I could say Dawson's an easy trade in because he just did well and he's pretty cheap. Green is going to be cheap, like Tom Green from GWS. He's going to be somewhat cheap soon because he's got a high break even. There could be Jai Newcomb. There could be Dunks could potentially still go down in price. Rao or Anderson can still go down in price. There's a lot of things still yet to happen in this round to really help gauge where we should be looking next week for value. So, Ghost, if Sherry played against Flynn in the form, they say they were both in, Big X would have cracked the 200. I think either Sherry or Gawn going up against Flynn are good chances to go 200 plus. And if he does, can you both shave your head? I'm not getting rid of my Goldilocks hair, mate. Not a shot. Brad will do it because he's barely got anything on top at the moment anyway. But,
Literally.
He just wants to be more like Josh Hunt.
Yeah.
Gawn versus Meek is going to be a good matchup next week. Yeah, it should be interesting. This is a good question regarding the Romo pick. Do we think he's going to get a week for the tripping?
It kind of looks like he could, but at the same time, he just looks like he's a clumsy ruckman. So I'm hoping they use Carlton lawyers to bail him out here, but he could just get a fine.
Yeah. Hopefully it's just a fine. Bubba says no, he didn't got a week, he got a fine. I don't know if that's been confirmed or I haven't seen anything about it being confirmed.
Is
yet.
it? Far out.
Unsure.
Okay.
Correction, it was 30-10. That's still fucking massive.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Pretty sure all the Rucks have scored under 100 versus Adelaide, so that's a huge watch. Yeah, there you go. Ryan's projected 26.45. He had a merit VC and had to take it, but had Gawn. Just lucky. That's what I mean. Is like some people might have been worried about the safe captain on Gawn, given his like previous run with the Eagles.
Yeah.
So but you still had Gawn. Like
that's right.
Yeah, you missed the VC, but you still had them in your team, so you still benefited from that massive score.
Do you know what's funny as well with this whole Gawn scenario? I was kind of hoping my Brayshaw VC would fail, like a 110 or a 120, but because it was such an 87, it was such a just go for Gawn. Like it wasn't one where I had to question. Whereas if it was a merit, I would have banked the 172 every day of the week, but I never would have thought that Gawn was going to outdo a 172. So on the Thursday night, I'm like, missed that score. Like, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
At least he's in my team. At least he's a pod. And then, Gawn goes 198 because of a failed Brayshaw 87. And that was sort of a little bit kissed, but a little bit like Gawn was always a safe play for a captain this week against Flynn.
Yeah, 100%. Bubba says no, he can confirm he's not Jonas Goat, but they would combine if they could take shorties to the octagon. There you go, fair enough. Dan Zeremits probably. Was going to go Dawson have a track, ended up going track 5 minutes before the game. Definitely someone to bring in now, especially with Crouch out for 6 weeks. 100%. Couldn't agree more. Hardyman at 190 has been looking good the last two without being the sub.
I don't want to pay 190 for a defender rookie or any rookie at all.
Especially one from North.
Yeah.
Lorenz, cheeky 83 today is my 19. Yeah, that's.
Yep.
But here's the thing, though, right? Is Port played horribly.
Yeah.
Like, does Lorenz lose his job? Like, does Moraes instantly come back now? Because they had a winning formula, essentially.
I don't trust Port rookies now.
No, I don't either. I'm still probably gonna. I mean, I'm gonna give it 2 weeks on Moraes and see what happens. Just because he held that, he literally went from holding that wing role to being dropped. It's not like he got, we're going to give him the sub or whatever. Like, there might be something else going on. So I probably try to see. I want to get a gauge on what the situation is. Needs to be a mid, unfortunately. Okay, so Tunstall maybe then. Yeah, because Tunstall's not playing. Are you getting Captain Romo in 2 weeks' time against Flynn? Surely.
If Flynn's still playing, yeah, sure.
Yeah, if he's still playing. DJS, another member of the channel. Thanks for coming in, mate. Hi guys, projected 23.69, missed a few tricks, fielding Pryor and Davidson hurt. Please don't shave their heads, being bold sucks.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that, but yeah, fair call. I like to do it though.
I don't know what it feels like.
I annually do it, I reckon.
I've done a buzz cut before.
I can't imagine that.
I'll have to remind me to find a photo and I'll send it to you.
All right. I saw a doppelganger review at the voting poll, and I was going to say hi, and then I was like, nah, it's not him. It's not him.
Yeah. You should have just yelled out Tom Stewart.
I should have. He'd have been like,
even if it wasn't me, he probably would think it's funny that he's getting that call.
Everybody would have turned around as well in that line. They would have been like, what's going on?
You love being the center of attention. Come on now.
Wow.
Tell me I'm wrong, mate. Tell me I'm wrong.
No comment.
No comment. Yeah, that's what I thought. Plead the fifth. Because Dudley's 170 odd with a low break even next week, not being the sub anymore, I feel.
No.
Yeah. This is the meme though, was like, I worry about the rookies' job security after a really like poor game. Because if anything's going to change, it's probably like rookies, right?
You need that 50, 60K extra to make proper upgrades, though. You can't be paying anything more than a 130 for a bloody rookie now.
Yeah.
Like, we get mid-season draft players for 99K in 3 or 4 weeks' time. There's just no way I'm facilitating a 190K rookie at any point in the season from here on, because they're pure downgrade options. If you spend up on your rookies, you're not going to make any money off your rookie that you're selling, essentially.
But that's exactly right, though. That 50K you're putting on top of the 120, that 50, 70K, you're putting that onto a rookie instead of going to a potential top liner that's fallen.
Literally.
So,
and then you make less money as well on the flip side. So you're actually 100K the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Brad's bringing in.
Oh, get stuck. Oh, I hate that son of a. I hope he's sub tomorrow. It's always good for us being a sub and carrying waters. I hate McIntosh. I don't care what he won with the 3 flags as a passenger. Can't change my mind. I watch all those flags. Anyway.
I love that. We've caught up to the comments in like record time. So if you guys have any hot takes, please let us know, because I have that look on your face, Brad, tells me you've got some lined up.
Some hot takes? I might.
Yeah. Yaron says being bold doesn't suck. Being bold or wearing a headband, on the other hand, though.
Yeah.
Love that. Causer reckons Hewitt was the exception last week, though. I don't know, though. Like, it looks like the exception now. And this is the thing. You don't know how these trades are really going to affect your team until season end. Like, yeah, you might have got a Hewitt, but does that mean you also took let's just say, for example, that forced you to take a Finn Callahan instead of a Track because you just wanted an upgrade?
Yep.
You know, so yeah, like Hewitt looked great. Don't get me wrong. Like, definitely worked out for those that brought him in out of lack of options.
Yep.
But that's not like, that's a rarity. This is a very rare instance because usually it doesn't work out as smooth.
Yeah, I agree, because like there's a couple of different factors. Like they could get injured as well. Like I don't really want to buy a guy that I've already missed a price rise or two from. And I know the roles there. Like there has to be like 3 or 4 things ticked off in that, and it's such a let's say 1 in every 10 rookies that you pay 194 pays off. So probably as a generalization, I wouldn't go there. But like exactly like you're saying, yeah, mate. Hindsight, now that he's scored this 90, it is worth it. But in a general consensus, it's probably really not worth going those higher elevated rookies because you've already missed cash gen, and then you've already missed a better upgrade to what you could have done.
Yeah, and that's what there's the argument for both sides of this, and we only know it works in hindsight. Like you guys could have gone, as Causer said, like a Murphy Reed, some jumped on as well.
Yeah,
right. Again, these ones you could have 100% jumped on. It could have also fizzled out. Like we saw, and it's same. We saw this more happen at the start of the season where you started a Finn O'Sullivan and all these other rooks that were at that higher price and just didn't come to anything.
Yep.
So, I mean, I heard Elijah Hewitt had a sore shoulder, came off with a sore shoulder. Like, does he get rested now? Like, yeah, that might have worked, but what if he goes missing again? Because he's already had body concerns this season.
Don't scare me.
I'm scaring you. Knack, what's par this week? We can't answer this question. Too early.
Yeah.
Too early, I believe. But look, honestly, given some of the scores I'm seeing around, maybe 2350, I think it's going to be quite similar, if not a little bit lower than last week. Just because the spike scores aren't from your main boys. These McIntosh comments are going off for you, mate.
No, I hate McIntosh. I'm not even gonna keep going with that.
There you go. But Allen look good, lads. You know, I didn't watch the game, so I really can't comment on it. You didn't really notice him much. You watched.
I didn't even know he existed, apart from when he got sort of hurt, and he carried on like a sook when he got hurt. But Apart from that, it was 36 for a reason, but yeah, didn't notice him.
Yeah, fair enough. I have 200k in the bank, getting Tracker to finish my forward line. Very nice. Is Dawson good enough? I think him himself, yes, as a player, is around the mark. It just depends what Nix does with his role because they're sending him forward. Like I noticed he did spend some more time behind the ball as well today, which was awesome.
Yep.
It's just that role again. He's Mr. Fix It. This is the
Yeah.
only problem with Dawson. He's Mr. Fix It, which means wherever he's needed, he will go. That could be forward line if he needs to get rested. It could be behind the ball if they're trying to throw. I mean, they threw Rochelle in the mid mix as well with Peatling, Saligo. You got Rankin. Yeah.
Do you want to know? This is my take on Dawson.
Here we go. Hot take number one.
Again, in hindsight, he was this week's pick in hindsight, but next week you've got Dunkley that's got a break even of 130, and he's 529k. I'd rather pay less money for Dunkley if his role goes to the CBAs again.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather pay less money for, let's say, Sinclair or Rao, all these other players now that are coming down. For this week, he was the price point. But I think next week there's going to be better players around the mark instead. So I think it was this week in hindsight again, because he played forward so much in the last quarter that it worried me. If he didn't have those early goals and do what he did, the roles were a bit questionable. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't go there because he's still value, but I still think Sarong and players like that now in the next couple of weeks would be a little bit cheaper to upgrade your midfield. So I think it was this week, again, hindsight, but I don't think I'm going to touch it next week now.
That's not see, and this is like my thoughts too. Now I was like, okay, so we saw Dawson pop off. He's gonna like start going up in cash, but we've seen Sarong still put in stinkers. Like Sarong's gonna be very cheap soon.
Yeah,
very cheap. And if I'm having to choose Dawson or Sarong, it's not even a question. I'm taking Sarong every day of the week.
Literally.
Yeah, like it's one of those tough ones. But no, it's not that you're trying to put us off the pick. It's just like, hey, expectation like managed more than anything. Know that you might have the 75 stinker more occasionally than a Sarong would.
Yeah.
Do we think the injuries so far have opened up a spot for some must-have rookies?
Sorry. I'm just reading ahead. It always gets me. What's the question?
Do we think the injuries so far has opened up some spots for some must-have rookies?
I don't think any is a must-have apart from maybe Hurstwaite. But even then, like his job security is questionable. All their job security is questionable. So none of them must-haves.
No, I definitely agree. So we really can't answer this just because this changes every week at this point, and it changes 3 times every week because you might get an inkling that they've been trading with and did the captain's run and all that sort of shit. But some team sheets they're dropped. Like there's just no guarantees. This is copium.
This is so funny because it's actually kind of true. Like he's an awful football player, but he gets some points because of positions he's in. Like, he takes some good marks, intercepts, but without the kickouts, he'd be a very bad Supercoach pick.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, I went last week for the rookie shuffle to get Flynn, Hewitt, and Spargo last week. How did Spargo do?
I was interested in
61.
Spargo because his fixture, but then I pivoted off and I can't remember why.
Then you remembered that he was Spargo?
Yeah, but I think another option popped up, and that was doing Ned Long and Flynn instead of going a weird rookie.
Yeah. Hewitt needed 3 goals. He got bulk points from his first goal because it made scores close. Yeah, and this is the thing is like, this is like what you're touching on as well. Scaling influences the score. Like if you have some good scaling earlier in the game, it's going to benefit that overall scoring throughout the rest of the game, right? So you take away those goals or whatever it might have been to get the scores close or save the game or whatever it might have been. Take away those little bits of scaling. What was their real score? And then that should help guide you on whether you think they're a decent pick, essentially. Dodgy Malacca, any primo mids or defenders who could be targets next week? Dawson's still one. Dunks, Sinclair, Clark, Sarong is probably going to be gettable. Merritt, if you want to get on before he starts going back up in price, I suppose.
I like Zorko and Dunkley next week for the price point and what the break evens will be.
Yeah. Zach, worth trading TDK to Gawn. Already have Sherry.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth paying up for Gawn now. If you didn't pay up for him at the start of the season, you're not paying up for him now. Like, you had a reason not to pay up for Gawn. I don't see what's changed outside of essentially point chasing.
Yep.
You're not going to get these big scores back, unfortunately. And I'm not saying point chasing to be a dick. I'm saying don't get trapped into chasing the 170s and the 198 because you're not getting them in, like, they're not counting for you. You're going to have a better season if you just try to play the value game.
Yep.
JG's putting Zorka on watch. Better go 120 plus tomorrow.
I think he'll be fine tomorrow. I think, like, the down games, when I look at the statistics and watch those games, there's reasons for it, so I'm not too worried about Zorko.
Might have to trade him back.
Oh, God.
What rookies are on the bubble next week? Only Huswaite and Bus.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. Boxall's still one more week away.
Yep.
My bold call is Warner gets tagged and goes under 50.
Ooh, that's a good hot take. I like that, Corey.
That's a nice hot take for the night causer.
Yep.
I like it. Is the tag more likely on Warner than Heaney? 100%.
Yes. Yep.
It's Bedford more. Who do you think scores more, Huswaite v Richmond or Levi v Suns? Huswaite.
Yep.
Better role, better matchup. We could be screwed for rookies. Yep. We're definitely screwed for rookies, Ed. Bella Magic, Brad, I wonder how many convinced you to go Hayden Young. Are you trying to find out where you live this week?
Yeah, I was looking at Young. Like, you can't foresee injuries, so I was looking at a lot of players at 520k and under. And I mentioned Young last night, just because the time we're grounded is going to be slowly increased, etc. But yeah, these aren't my fault. Like, you can't foresee an injury. You're probably going to play all right.
Mate, you're getting called out here. Matthew's coming for you. Pufferfish is coming for you.
Oh my God. That's okay. I can't get them all right, but I didn't put a gun to anybody's head and say pick these players. Like, you got to study your own players as well, not just what I come on and say.
Oh, I got to sneeze. No, got it. Stopped it. All right. Yeah, Hewitt jumped from 40 to 61. Very good. JG, you're a fucking menace. I'm reading the other comments too now because we're there. I'm checking. No, okay, there's nothing in the other chat. Very good. Don't break us, JG. I'm waiting for you to fucking do it too. Wanted to work on my backline this week, but I know if I can go the bus after he got bevoed, as I have Whitfield, Clark, Short, Bice, Reed, Trader Bench, Patton Carroll, and 156 in the bank. Any advice?
I think they think I'm actually serious. That I think that Pufferfish thinks I'm serious. That I know they were taking the Mickey, and same with Matthew. But anyway,
so, guys, Brad can't. He literally has the inability to take offense to things.
And I'm so bloody vague that it'd go over my head anyway. I'd be like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm just a puppy dog at this point.
No, you guys remember Drax from Guardians of the Galaxies? Just all muscle. Takes things very...
Oh, God.
Similar resemblance, actually. I could Photoshop that too. Maybe I should.
Jeez.
New profile picture for you.
Oh, yeah. At the gym, we're going to do what we were saying the other day.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow morning.
Sweet.
So you guys keep an eye on Brad's channel for the next few videos and streams that he's going to do because it's going to look absolutely mint. Yep. It looks so good. But yeah, look, general advice for that, Green, I would say, I mean, Reed you're going to keep. Trainers, again, he's about to restart his cash gen. Yeah. I'd say a potential play you can make. Oh, it's so hard. Yeah, look, Green, we'll talk during the week. Let's see how the rest of the round goes.
Yeah.
We'll guide you. because it's a bit hard at the moment because we don't know where Whitfield stands.
Yep.
Where Trainer stands at the moment. Like Trainer could have an absolute massive game and really kickstart that cash in again, and there's no way you're going to trade him out after that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the round falls, and then again we'll discuss it as we usually do during the week, mate. Snapchat filters are great. We do know that, JG. Yeah, everyone. JRD with a total left field question. Guys, we've already voted. I don't know if you need to get the greens on our side. It's too late, mate.
I don't even know what that means.
No idea. But I love the take, JRD. Love the take. He's asked it again. He's gone twice.
Chol might go big, to be fair.
But yes, no. So this is a sneaky like left field cash gem play. Is a Chol.
Yeah.
If you were risky enough to go there.
I think Burns liked him as well. I was DMing Burns about some weird players early on this week, and we talked about some players I'm not even discussing here because I will get unfollowed so quickly.
That's right. That's what the hot takes are for, though. This is the one place you can share it with us.
True. What's JD got for us?
Brad, what did you do to your voodoo doll to make TDK score his first sub 100 once you traded?
It was more a calculated play. I know this is taking a piss anyway, but for the price, I was looking at TDK's break even. I think it was around 100 and something. And I was like, Rob's a pretty good ruckman in terms of restricting points. Adelaide Oval, I didn't know that statistic, so I can't take it all. I was like, how am I going to make money this week without grabbing an early rookie? So I'm like, Romo on the way up. He scored huge against that McInerney. I watched that game. I was like, I think he's back. Let's make 125K and then use that money for next week. So it was a gamble that at my ranking, I was like, I've got to do something different. He's 2% owned. If it pays off tonight, it's a 4-week play. If it doesn't pay off tonight, I've still got 3 other weeks to look at it to see if I did well. But also, I don't want to go die wondering. So I'm actually just playing for first or nothing. So if I make some weird, risky moves, it's because I'm actually going for broke now. So I'm not going to play for a top 100. I'm just playing for first or nothing. And I know it sounds stupid, but I just have enough belief from what I've done so far that I think I could potentially pull it off. In saying that, I'm going to be watched every single move, and I'm just going to just take it for what it is and enjoy the ride while I'm still here.
Well, that's it though. Is like if things are working, don't change it. Like don't break what's not like. If it's working for you and like these risks are paying off, why would you change the way you're approaching the game? Like you're at the rank you are now because of what you've been doing. Why should that change?
Yeah.
You know, like maybe it's not the status quo of like trades. You know, like don't trade out TDK or whatever. But like, hey, that worked this week. You got some cash gen and you got more score on field.
Yeah.
Like it worked. So I just but it's not like he's just throwing darts blindfolded at a dartboard and going, I'm gonna make this trade. Like there is work done behind the scenes to go, is this a manageable risk?
Yeah.
It just takes time. Just do your homework, ladies and gentlemen. I know it was shit in school, but hey, you could potentially take out the weekly prize if it pays off.
Yep.
Guys should have known Clark has gone for a bad score since Tim Michelle traded him in this week. I mean, how does he do this every week?
If anyone, he's got the voodoo doll, doesn't he?
Legit though.
Yeah.
Legit. He has the voodoo doll. He has a hit list. He has some board at home. It's ridiculous. What's the trade out between Lalore, Ashcroft, Hall, Campo, and Reed? I only have 88K. I'm going to go straight to Lalore because if you only got 88K, you need someone with cash on their head to make some moves. So you can't really trade out. You can't trade out Campo. I'm assuming that's Archer Reed. If he's good, what's Archer Reed doing? I'm still probably going Lalore.
I'd only downgrade Archer Reed to Finbar in a fortnight's time if Finbar's still playing.
So he's got a 32, so he's going to start losing cash now. Yeah. That's a tough one. Yeah, if you wanted an instant trade out, I'd go Lalore, and then, as Brad said, probably wait for Finbar, and then just do it. Nice R3 swap. Some nights my cat comes home, some nights it doesn't. Then puffer fish as he's going through it. Sounds like it. I hope you're all good, JRD. I think only Miller is the ton run. I think. Yeah, I don't think anyone else is in the ton run anymore. I think only Tuke Miller out of all players.
Well, yeah, I didn't know that.
He's been solid. You're a bold man to do this from your account and not a burner. I will say that, JG.
Yeah, it's crazy though to trade out players for what ifs and maybes. That's what I must say. Is like there's hindsight, obviously, but if the role swaps and changes every week, you may as well just live through it. Like she's at the end of the day was going to be top 6 or top 8. So hindsight again, but like you just got to play the percentages. There's no money to make off Sheasel to downgrade to somebody decent like a TDK down to a Marshall. But yeah the Sheasel move is a bit crazy for me to do that kind of thing.
It's that. I call it a nerd term because it's the only way I know how to explain it. It's that theory crafting approach. And when I say theory craft, it's what are the logics you're building your team on? What are the rules that you stand on when it comes to your team? Yeah. And like the most common one is, especially early in the season, don't trade your primos. Like the main game is to get rookies off field as soon as you can.
Yep.
That is, you can go through any other rule above or before that. The main foundational rule is that never changes. It doesn't matter what season it is or what's happening. That is always going to be your bread and butter rule that you should follow.
I feel for Matthew for this one too, actually, because like the TDK one, like if it's a Marshall play and you're making 125,000, you shouldn't have got laughed at. Like if that's what you're gonna do as well, like you got to make cash other places. So if it means like it's stock market where you buy low, sell high, then there's potential to do that. But just depends if you think that player can go back up to that certain price that they've been before.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean, though, is like there are exceptions to that rule, and the TDK to Romo is probably one of them, where it is a different play. And not everyone's going to be able to do that or feel comfortable doing that. And any person who says what their trades are, there is always going to be a chance people disagree with you and laugh at your trades and go, that's not going to work, and so on and so forth. Brad told us his trades, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure if that's going to work. And it worked.
Yeah, I was copping a bit of stick for the TDK down the Romo. Everyone was giving me a bit of a hard time, but I didn't take it personally because I had my side on paper and I was like, all right, well, I can do this money next week with that play. They're not seeing the bigger picture. They only realize the 2 trades, but they don't understand what I'm doing the week after or the week after that. So that's where it's you can put a Twitter poll like I do, but then I take that with a grain of salt and then go, okay, what should I actually do?
But that's the thing, right? Is if your trades are getting attention and it's like mixed attention where it's like, oh, I see it, but it's also like, no, don't do it, blah, 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 blah. Grain of salt. It doesn't matter if it's from us, content creators, or if it's from, John Smith from down the road. Any opinion about your trades, take with a grain of salt. Follow your gut feel. If you've done the research, like if it's just a random like, oh, maybe this. Yeah, maybe don't do that. But like if you've done the research, you've done the numbers behind it and it makes sense, everyone else's opinion should not change the direction you feel is right for your team.
Yeah.
Like me starting Dunkley, he was at under 1% owned at the start because everyone went Neil and all this sort of stuff because they didn't think it was around the mark. That's why I got a good head start. Not that it mattered now because I'm fucking in the 8K range, but I copped that massive 173 and everyone else came in for dunks chasing that and they just haven't gotten it. So again, and holding on to Ed Richards, like both of us starting Ed Richards. We had faith in the pick.
1% owned, like that's huge. And then I held on to Roberts and Flynn, and that's why I think I'm where I am now as well, because I hadn't sideways too many players. This is the first week I think I've actually sideways throughout the whole season. So, and it was for Clary. I don't think Clary's coming back for a few weeks potentially at this point anyway, just reading the article. I could be wrong, but I don't care at this point for my Supercoach team.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean, is like there's calculated risks. Everyone's tolerance for risk is very, very different. So yeah, whether it's a content creator or John Smith from down the road, grain of salt for everything. I did not listen to the fireball.
No, I
See?
hate Kane Corns. Like, he's a flog, so I don't listen to anything he says.
There you go. I traded TDK as well to Sherry. The idea was when I get Sherry, after the buy, he'll be too expensive with his draw, but TDK is hovering around the same price. Reverse cash gen, say maybe 100k. Good so far. Yeah, like I said, I don't mind that.
Mm.
I don't mind
If
that at
you
all.
have a reason behind it and anyone else doesn't see that, that's fine. Like, your play there is like, if I'm reading that, I'm going, all right, Sherry's a good VC and C option. He's highly owned, so I want to stop the bleeding. There's multiple reasons for you to give reasons for. And if you are comfortable with that, regardless of what other people say, then go for it. Don't just go, all right, he said I should do this, because we can't see A, your whole team, B, what your buy players are during the rest of the season, and C, we don't know what your 2 or 3 week plan. So when we get your trades of should I do this and this, there's probably rookies you could upgrade instead of a sideways, but we don't know your whole entire side. So we just give our advice over what you give us, but we don't have the whole picture. So when we designate a certain player over a different one, we don't realize how much risk or how much non-risk you have on your side. The other night I was saying the only way I was going to bring in a Dawson or a Chad Warner is if I didn't have other guys that were roller coasters like a Bailey Dale, guys that are super high floor but a super low floor as well. So it's the risk reward is so team dependent that it's hard to facilitate everyone's trades in the same category, because what could be a good trade for rookie coach over here might not be good for my side long term.
Exactly. Exactly right. So it's just, one of those things. It's all very team dependent, as Brad said. And when anyone offers advice, like, it's either given off limited information, where it's like, oh, hey, what would you do with X versus Y player?
Yeah.
We've only got the concepts of X versus Y. We haven't got your whole team layout in most cases or anything like that. So, grain of salt, stop the banter, guys. Come on, seriously. I'm kidding. Don't stop the banter. We love the banter. If you're going to give banter, you save it for Saturday night for the After Dark stream and you let it rip here. For those that are still hanging around, thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us. Give us your hot takes. We want to hear about your traumatic experience of round 8 so far. But make sure you do give the stream a like. Make sure you go check out Brad Supercoach Pro 91. He's going to have a bit of a facelift in the coming week. So get very excited about that. Make sure you follow us both on X. Rookie Coach AFL for myself and Supercoach Pro 91 for Brad.
Yep.
And he's freaky. So that's a reason why you should follow him. BMI and I still end up with both and Gawn. Yeah, solid. So you got the 3-headed monster. So amazing. Cause I did the research behind Clark this week, brought him in, but the game didn't help. That's what I mean, though. Again, I feel like I repeat this every week. When you make your trades, there is so much sound logic behind them. The only thing you can't factor in is how the game goes on game day, the luck behind it. Like, no one would have expected Freo to get hit like they did.
No.
Let's be honest. Like, yeah, they've had rough away games, but not like this.
Yeah. Like, who's to predict Bolton's going to score 5 either? Like, how do you know Bolton's going to score 5 after what he's just produced?
Yeah, exactly. And you don't expect Dacos to not turn up versus Geelong.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I have
crazy.
Interesting take on that, actually. I've got a funny one for you. The reason why, A, I couldn't afford Dacos, but B, I wasn't extremely, extremely hot to get him to break my side was Cats for inside midfielders. Cats for inside midfielders are actually a bit of a difficult matchup. So I kind of thought, I didn't watch this game, but I was like, he's probably going to get a tag from Chris Scott. So I was like, I'm not going to break the bank for 640. I can't afford that anyway. I might let it play out. And that was the only game I could see happening in the next few weeks where he would drop a low score. Other than that, I think he actually is going to be pretty decent. So the Cats game was the only red flag. But again, I chose Merritt over Dacos 2 or 3 weeks ago now. And now I think over the last 3 weeks, they've probably averaged about the same, because when Dacos scored a 170, Merritt scored like a 100. And then this week it's been flipped the other way around. And Merritt's got 172 and now Dacos has got an 88. So I think my trades with Merritt over Dacos have equaled themselves out over a 3-week period, finally.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though, is like the Merritt trade-in didn't feel great when Dacos did the 170, right? But
Yeah.
now it's kind of flipped in the opposite week. And this is what happens is like you had faith behind a trade in. It may not look like the best trade in some weeks, but this week you're like, damn, I'm so glad I went merit.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just how it goes.
Mm.
Um, so what do we think par will be this week? I probably think it's around the 23.50 mark, most likely. But again, hard to tell at the moment.
It
Marek has an
seems
option.
it
Yeah,
sounds like it could be a tad higher, doesn't it? Like a lot of people saying 2-4, so maybe it's 2-4 bang on.
possibly. It could be 2-4.
Mm.
I do think that the plays that are popping off though aren't as common as the
Mm.
ones as last week. So I think it might be lower than last week potentially, which is
Yep.
good because I need that. I don't want a low or high 2400 score and not move in ranks again.
Yeah, that's right.
So I open Nukem and my pods, which are basically my whole midfield at this point. So
Yeah.
all anti-potting the big boys at the moment.
Oh,
It's not
yeah.
going well. Not going well, ladies and gentlemen. Have to break it to you.
Mm.
Marek options still to jump on. No, we do not jump on Marek now if you have not got him.
Yeah.
Causa saw Swizz apparently go boy to Sherry this week with Clary out and Flynn to bench. Seems like it worked. Brought in
Wow.
Sherry, bench Flynn. Yeah, like
So what do you do with Flynn in that instant? Do you downgrade him to Finbar? I'd love to know what Swizz's play here is because yeah, Flynn scored bad this week. I'm not shitting on this, by the way. I just want to know, does he trade Flynn down to Finbar after that, so he's got flexibility in the future? Because that's a play and a half. I never really considered doing that, but I just didn't want the points on my bench. But hindsight again, like he scored a 52. It's actually probably not a bad move this week. But long term, I'd love to see what he does from here on with Flynn. I guess he just trades him out at some point.
yeah, I imagine if you've got like a TDK, Gawn, and Cherry in your team, and you're just using that flex spot for your third proper primo ruck, then yeah, you're probably just letting him build cash, and you're not really worried about the scores.
No.
Interesting play though. Interesting play. Holmes is becoming a hard watch for me. Was in the 50s before last quarter. Yeah, Holmes is an interesting one because he
He looks
looks at the goods, but
like he just got out of bed every time he plays.
yeah, just had a nice little kip in the change rooms before he came out.
Yeah, he looks like just somebody woke him up and said, "Hey, mate, your shift's on." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll be ready in 5." You know?
Yeah. He's still got a 94. Like, it's not the worst case. Like, he's going to be dirt cheap soon.
That's a good anti-pod, though.
Yeah. 100%.
Mm.
Smith is a horrible anti-pod. He's been doing really well. So
Who's anti-podding him? You're not anti-podding him, are you?
no, I wasn't, but I planned to. But then I bailed on that idea very early.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. What do we think is part? Yeah, probably around 2400. This is your hot take, mate.
Yeah, true. Look, I'm going to get rid of Marek at some point. Like I can't see him pushing 130 every time. Like Melbourne league points to defenders massively.
Yeah, 100%. Aiden also have held the faith in Eddie Richards. What a game he had.
Oh, imagine trading him out though. I would have been so pissed before this game if I traded him out and seen this score.
Well, this is like me and you spoke about this pretty early on too, is why we weren't looking to trade him out when he pretty much bottomed out in price around that 500 mark. Is that hey, if Bond comes back, we expect him to be better because he's not playing as accountable.
Bond's going to get the tag now, and Ed Richards is free. And you watch Ed Richards as hard as I do, I'm sure. He is so hard to work at every contest. He reads the play. He gets burnt a lot. For a guy that's scoring so well, they don't use him enough for his ball use. He gets in the right spaces. He's one of the best guys to watch when it comes to crumbing and knowing where the ball is going to go. He's unreal.
100%. 100%. And this is the thing, though, is like what we see with, or what I particularly notice with Richards is that in half the clearances or contests, he'll sit behind play and then run through and then get that clearance. And it works so well. It's so good.
And he brings something different, doesn't he? Like he brings something different to Bulldogs midfield. He's not so one dimensional like some of those in and unders like a Kennedy or a Libba. He is, I'd say, more impactful because the way he plays.
And he can convert goals more than anything.
Yeah.
Like he kicks some ripper goals. Yeah, and he's a ginger. Fellow ginger. Gotta love him.
Yeah.
JG midfield is flying this week. Brayshaw, Dacos, Rosie, Chera, and Chocky tomorrow. Yeesh. I mean, Chocky should do well tomorrow, JG, so hopefully that saves your week. Cheese, the legend himself. Feel like he's having a good but bad week at the same time. He can't decide. I feel like most teams are feeling like this, though. They're like, oh, I've had some ripper scores, but then I've also copped some really bad scores.
Yeah.
Like, this is the balanced week, guys. It's not good or bad. It's just what I would dare say a normal Supercoach week is. You have your players that pop off and you have some that don't, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, typical.
If you have a week where all your players pop off, including your pods, like that's a unicorn week, really.
Unicorn week. I like it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Marty, I'm going to need 4 booster trade Flynn, Pepper, Davison, Pryor, Kako, Chera, and Ashcroft next week, please. Yeah, I don't know where we're going to loan those boosts from.
I don't have any boosts.
I got one. I got one. So we'll see what I can do next week in regards to the cash I have. But I can't even use it. There's no one to grab next week to use it on for like a double downgrade or anything like that. So it's bloody pointless to try and use it. Antipoding Kalen Daniels seems to be a good option. It kind of does.
I don't know. He's the 8th ranked forward at the moment as it stands.
Do we see him improving though? Because he's had a few spike games, but he seems to sit around this low 90s.
He's averaging 99. Will be a little bit less than that. But he's the 8th rated forward coming into this week.
What is this horror of him getting 3 116s?
That's for average anyway.
He went 116 against Melbourne and against Adelaide and against Suns. No lower, no higher. 3 scores of the exact same score. That's crazy.
Yeah, true.
I mean, his floor is 81. He's got a safe floor. You're not trading him out yet.
No, I don't know how him. I don't want anti-pod Caleb Daniel. He's fine.
Yeah, solid causer. Cheese loading again.
Probably for me.
Yep. If you told me round 24 last year that Flanders would be 489k with a B of 159 at round 8, I would have laughed at you. Yeah. Oh, no, Cheese. Cheese is probably just changing clothes because he vomited over them again. Very happy with Elijah Hewitt being my highest scoring midfielder this week.
Wow. Okay.
That's when you know something's gone terribly wrong. I definitely agree with that. It does get burnt a bit. Always seems to be in the right spot though. How many got rid of Bailey Dale?
Literally, sorry. Go on, keep going.
Yeah, that's what Rich is just he's just his IQ of the game, top notch.
Yep.
Absolutely top notch. And I feel like some people definitely moved on from Bailey Dale. But like Dale was always going to have a spike score to come back at some point. Like he's a primo to a degree. He has the ceiling. We know he can hit it in some regards. It just needs the situation to do it, and that was today. Does he do it again next week? Maybe. But we put up a stinker next week, and then you feel right that you're trading him out. One of those things. You won't know until season's end whether you made the right call or not.
What I meant was, now before you get at me, Cheese, dimensional, I mean, like, they've got so many of those sort of players that are contested beast, but they don't have any zip and speed. I didn't mean like, because they've got a lot that can play forward. Like Bont goes forward, Kennedy goes forward, Treloar can go forward. But I mean, like the fact, like speed on the game is what I probably should have said. Like he's just got a lot more, what do you call it? Zip, speed, I don't know, whatever. Whereas the other players are so one pace, I should have probably said Cheese, if you know what I mean. Whereas Richards is just so quick as opposed to the other guys.
100%. Totally agree with that. So happy with spike scores from Richard, Sherry, and Rankin. I only get spud scores from Clark, Andy, and Nick.
Ooh.
Yeah. Welcome to Supercoach, Marty. That's how it is. What happened to Brad's no ginger rule?
Well, I already started one of them and flicked one of them, so Clary's never coming back to my side in any given year. But yeah, he's the only ginger I've got love for, like the Wolverine and the photo frame.
Yep, 100%. Marty had the option of Holmes and Clark or Whitfield and Bowley earlier in the year. Guess which one he picked. And then he further adds to that, Holmes is the hardest watch. Yeah, sputtered up for the third week now in a row. And he got scaled down 10 points for fluffy hair.
I love that.
That's great. I love that. JG says chicken burger. Yep, love that. Daniel is a bum player, but his scores are handy. He's like a Marek. You know, they're not the best players, but they're just in that really fruitful role where it makes the worst players look like absolute gold mines.
It's the Zach Fisher and Aaron Hall sort of thing. Like they're not good AFL players, but they're good for stats.
Yeah, I'll just stat pattern. Because I saw that 1.6k people traded McRae out this week, and we just call those people casuals.
Yeah, or NPCs.
NPCs, 100%. Shy Bolton, horrible pod.
Oh, well, the flex position would take out that 5.
Yeah, for sure. Even if it is a Flynn 53, that's still better than a 5.
Literally.
So, could be worse. What a dumb trade for Carlton getting rid of Kennedy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what happens though, is you get players that kind of get stagnated in their current team and then they switch teams and then they just go nuts. Like McRae stagnated. Like he had his prime time at Bulldogs, then was very stagnated, and then bang, Saints just goes nuts.
And it's because like a lot of these players go bang because they're played out of position in other clubs because that position is too filled with what they've already got there. So then they've got to play a secondary position. So when they go to a club that actually has a position that they predominantly play, they pop off purely because that's where they're meant to be.
Exactly. Cheese wants to know who he downgrades prior to.
You upgrade prior.
There you go. That's what you got to do, Cheese. I have Al Hooley currently sitting in my mid bench, so I'm going to trade out prior and then swing Al Hooley back so I can get Boxall.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
that's the only reason why I get Al Hooley, because I hope he cracks back into the team because he did show some good flair, but that defensive mid DPP is very, very handy.
Yep.
Aiden VC'd McRae as well. Amazing stuff. Very good. Well, we're caught up with comments. So you guys, there's 82 of you in here. Make sure if there's anything you want to discuss, it can be Supercoach relevant, footy relevant, whatever it might be. Like, this is a wild stream nonetheless, especially when we have others on here. Probably been a little bit more calm tonight, I think. I think people are taking a chill pill tonight. Maybe everyone feels good about Collingwood getting a loss to Geelong.
Potentially, and maybe the team's flying, so they haven't had too many drinks tonight.
That's very true. I mean, JG's probably still had drinks. Look, he's gone ham every bloody stream. He gets it all out on the table. I love it. So fun. We got CJG. I would really love to trade Shearer and Holmes straight to Zorko and Neil, but got rookies to get rid of. Yeah, they're like luxury trades essentially.
Yep.
You know, and you can't make them this early. Like when you've got rookies off field, that's like the sort of luxury trades that you make, I believe.
Literally.
Supercoach Lock, welcome in, mate. Thank you for joining us. Hope your week is treating you well and Supercoach team even better. Knew that Gawn would go massive, but couldn't knock back the VC on merits 172. At least I have both. See, that's perfect reasoning. He's still got a solid VC score, but he's just happy he has both in his team and was able to capture them both.
Yeah, best way to look at it. Yep.
100%. Best way to look at it. Love that approach, Lock. All I know is seeing Carlton and Collingwood lose in the same day is brilliant. Well, I haven't seen any comments from Cheese saying he has to change his clothes, so it must be a good day.
Yeah. He must be that happy that they beat the worst team in the league too, just. So.
Just. Is it bad that I went the VC on Sherry over Gawn? No, not at all. Projected 24.86. Very solid projection still, Mac. Yeah. I don't think there's an issue with taking that. You take that all the time. And then Matthew, really important question here. Do 100 Brads beat a silverback gorilla?
Probably one Brad does, but that's after 2
What?
Masasas.
After 2 Masashi's, a little bicep pump.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. That's
That's the
crazy.
best.
Couple eggs on the head getting pumped up.
Literally.
Holmes playing halfback and not hunting on par with the Dutton running for PM and not winning his own seat.
I'm
There you
not
go.
really a politician, man. I can't even say what I voted for because it's actually one of the ones that is pretty funny. It was to legalize something.
Hey, same.
Look at us.
Look at us. Nighthawk and Dragon.
It's funny as.
Hewitson.
I'm so confused.
I'm gonna assume that's Elijah Hewitt. And when his when his break even meets his average, when he maxes out of cash, that's when you trade him.
Are you looking at any of the teams and going through a few of those, or nah? I forgot to ask you what your sort of plan is.
As in,
like the teams on the Supercoach data where it has all the scoring for Supercoach so far, or is that?
Oh, as in just reviewed the games played so far.
Yeah, you haven't all get that tonight, or nah? I just thought I'd ask.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Pro surrounded by green.
Yeah, oh mate, I would love to do a stream like that.
Who wouldn't? Let's be honest.
I wouldn't be able to read any comments whatsoever.
Yeah, you struggle reading English on a good day.
Why do you think you're hosting and it's not me?
Well, that's true. That's very true. We're going to do a quick review of the games. We're going to let the comments build up for a little bit. Still around 80s of you here, so appreciate you hanging out with this. Let's jump into this.
Let them build up like blue balls on a Friday night.
Oh, boy. There we go. There we go. Well done, Brad. So we're going to jump into North and Essendon. Now, look, honestly, this could have been a better game in regards to Essendon actually doing a number on Melbourne, but somehow Melbourne stayed competitive. I don't get it.
Sheasel, look at that Sheasel score though. Oh my god.
A 120, solid. A Merritt at 172. Durham seems to be a very, very good. And Sitterfield as well. Not Supercoach relevant, but overall, from a Don's perspective, very solid. Zach Reader 102 is just making me pay for trading him out at this point. Yep. Honestly, but a 98 from Martin's not horrible if you bought him in. Who else we got? Kako was 60. Yeah, we'll get to North Melbourne because Derry is one that I have to try and figure out how to get in at some point.
Yeah.
Kako and Pryor are 60 and 57. I mean, it's not the worst case scenario. He got one goal, Kako. I think we're all waiting for this spike game, and it's never coming. It's not happening.
Do you got him? I don't have him.
I got Kako still. He's the slowest of Burns.
Wow.
He's the slowest of Burns. So I'm just waiting for him to do something or wait for a forward option. I don't know what I'm doing with him, but he's making some cash. So it's not like the worst case scenario, but Pryor's definitely gone for me next week in some way or form. Sardis, again, not sub or anything like that. Only the 44.
That's a waste of a trade for those 3.5k that bought him in.
3.5k bought him in. Jesus.
I think so. Don't quote me on that exactly. From what I heard.
I might. Let's have a look. Oh, come on, keyboard. There we go.
LDU
yeah, if you're right. 3.4, 36. 1.3% trade him in.
LDU is going to be a good pick next week too, by the way.
You reckon? You reckon he's going to turn around?
Have a look at his scores and what he's worth is 491,000. Sorry, 491 or something like that. I don't know, 493. I can't remember.
Let's have a look at this. So what's he valued at? 193.
Bro, look at that.
Not the worst case. Got Richmond and West Coast coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you if you can facilitate it, do you grab him for his buy before the buy?
if you don't have many round 12 buy players, I'd 100% go there. I can't because I just got rid of one. But the rule for me is no more than 5 premos in the buys. But I wouldn't trade out a premo for the sake of it, unless you're making money off it potentially. But I like LDU.
I mean, you could go from Chera to LDU and make cash, essentially.
You could. It's too crazy for me, but I like LDU.
Yeah.
Like Ashcroft up to LDU for 150k, you're laughing.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Don't mind it. Don't mind it. Bit of an up and down player, but I do not mind it at all. Power bounce back. Again, she's a ball. Sherry just, man. Definitely R1 for the season. Daniel 89. Hardeman 76. Again, just a high price rookie at this point. Don't know if you go there. Does he keep the role? Yeah. Not too sure. You'd hope so. Finbar did okay. It looks promising.
Key forward in a North Melbourne lineup's tough too. Like you only use it as an R3 loop because he has 4 DPP and he's 119k.
Oh yeah, 119,
yeah.
Yeah, definitely one to watch for sure. Let's have a look at these comments just quickly.
He's your perfect Arch and Reed downgrade. That's what I see it as.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yep, totally agree with that. Knack is Matt Flynn a chance to get dropped. Anything's possible with Walter. I'd say that's probably a high likelihood, but hopefully he's forgiving. Hello, fellas. The handball merchant, Eddie Richards, had a tear today. He actually did. We'll get into that game very, very shortly. Dunkley or Warner? Just give us a quick answer, Brady.
Dunkley, because you're not going to get tagged.
Yep, 100%. Cheese, that stuff is illegal, naughty. That's what we're trying to change. Yaron became a member of the channel. Thank you so much, mate. Appreciate all the support that you do for both myself and Brad and the Supercoach community at large. You're honestly, you're just immortal in this space at this point. There's no other way to say it. Knack, is it bad that I still have 6 rooks left on field, including Bice and 4 to 5 dead rooks on bench? I mean, it's not great. It's not great. You're probably betting on buy rounds, the mid-season draft to kind of correct that at this point. And you probably will have maybe 1 or 2 weeks before then where you might just have to double downgrade to get cash in going. Potentially.
Yeah.
JCR, great stream, guys. I'm off. Happy Sunday scoring. Thanks for tuning in, JCR. Appreciate hanging out with us. Hopefully you have a good Sunday as well. I'm sure I'll see you around during the week on the videos as well. So make sure you let me know how you went. Jeez, Sheezy Ball with 29 uncontested touches and 8 turnovers.
Yeah, true. But at least he's scoring well for Supercoach.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about that? We just want him scoring well. Who's the better VC option out of Whitfield and Newcomb? I feel like I need a big score because I don't have Gawn or Merritt.
Newcomb. He went 160 against Richmond.
Newcomb, Whitfield's got a smaller ground as well, which he typically doesn't do amazing scores on.
Yep.
So Newcomb is probably my pick as well. I also have him. He was definitely a C option, but in a week where you have Gawn versus Flynn, there's no other option. Was a more expensive Merritt a really bad choice a few rounds back over a 586 day cost?
Good point. I don't actually know because it depends what day cost comes down to in price shortly and scores the next 2-3 weeks. No idea.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of those things that you won't know until the end of the season on how that played out.
Yeah.
Supercoach Lock reckons Zach Reed is the keeper at D6. That's a hot take.
This is as crazy as my bias take. I like it though. Like
I like it.
There's a chance you hold, but it's the floor for me. Like he'll score a 30 or 40. At least Bice is a safe 70 or 80 if he has a bad D6, D7 sort of game in him. But Reed's a key defender at 6'8". Like he's gonna be a roller coaster. I wouldn't keep him, but I know it's a piss take anyway. But yeah, still a funny shout. I like it.
While we're talking about Reed though, I do have a bit of a take. We noticed that Reed's scoring improved with Ridley in the team. Ridley's out.
Ooh.
So I suspect that Reed becomes more accountable and his tons comes to an end. Or his good scoring comes to an end. I reckon he's not going over a 70 next week.
Oof. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I like it. Like, if you think he's going to play lockdown now that Ridley has been sort of helping him
I
out,
believe
then
Ridley is out. I believe he's
yeah,
out for at least a week. So
that's a good one.
it could just be me coping because I traded him out, but you know.
Yeah, same here.
Cheese, I'll do you a bum, no thanks.
Yeah,
I
but this
mean,
is the
cheese.
you look at value, and I was talking about Dawson last night on my live stream. Not
I was
calling
literally
everything,
about yeah.
you know, I'm not calling everything I say as gold, but like, you got to pick value somewhere because these guys will reward you.
Mm.
But yeah, Cheese is right.
I mean, like cheese was telling everyone not to get Dawson in.
Yes, yeah, bastard. That's what threw me off Dawson was Cheese. Stuff you and your voice notes, Cheese. You're the reason why I didn't bring in Dawson, half of it anyway. He had a gun to my head like everybody else in the comments, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheese reckons that Reed played accountable for 2 of his ton games. He'll be right. Yeah, but Ridley was still in the team though, I think, wasn't he?
Don't know. He's an
It's when
Essendon
Ridley
fan.
wasn't in the team that they were playing. They were playing. Again, this is just a hot take off the top of the dome. So we'll say Cheese. We'll say if Reed goes under 70, I expect a written apology next week.
I like stirring Cheese up because I know he does it back.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good. LDU and Dawson tempted me this week with Bont, Butters, and Merritt in mind. I only have one other spot to fill. These cheap options could come in handy.
Yeah.
100%. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at cheap options to get rookies off field and then let the dust settle on who's going to be like the main target that I want in these other lines. Like the Rucks, it's pretty clear you want at least Gawn and Sherry, and then maybe you want a third as a Ruck. Like maybe Pitnet doesn't come back and it's just TDK.
Yep.
Maybe you just Ruck that. Dunkley or Heaney as a trading keeper. I'll go Dunkley.
Yeah, Dunkley.
Yeah. Hardyman an option. We'll have negative. Well, this is what we're talking about him. We're not sure. He could be, but he's at that elevated price. So it's tricky.
How much would you even make off prior to bloody Hardiman? Like, what's prior price at?
So prior will be priced at. So we got a 57 this week. Let me share this. So we got a 57. Now, don't take these predictions with a grain of salt. They'll be priced at 295. So maybe at 105k you bank.
Not worth it. This is exactly my point. Not worth it.
Yeah. Yep, love it, Lachlan. Probably voted for the same things we did. Have Gawn, Sherry, Track, Cheese, McRae, and more, but got let down by Brayshaw, Flynn, and Rosie. Yeah, I was really. Did you watch that game with Rosie, the Port game?
Yeah, I did. They chucked him in the midfield in the third or fourth, I can't remember, just to get around the ball. But he got underscaled heavily. Like some of the kicks and handballs that he took, like his score barely elevated from memory, because I only check now at quarter time, half time. I don't really look in game too much, but did notice for what the possessions he's had, he was underscaled, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
There
you go. I'm not sure what this is reference to. Lewis Hayes. Is this Dons?
Yeah, it must be. He's a Bombers man.
Yeah. Good shout, Lock. Good shout. We'll see what happens. If Reed does another 100, Reed's going to become the background. He will. I'll put Reed as the background instead of Hewitt if Reed tons up again or goes over 70. She's just said Dawson had him acting up. Not going to lie.
I've got him in draft. So that's the only good thing about Dawson this week.
Yeah. All right, we'll come back to your comment, Knack. We'll quickly blitz through the Saints and Freo game because, damn, Freo got absolutely rolled. What was your standouts? Now, I think we've all seen this, so we know that you traded in Marshall, we outscored TDK and made cash, so absolute win for you. You've mentioned Steele. What's changed for you to start thinking of Steele as an option?
I think he's always been a decent primo, but the issue with Steele is he's always had patches, and now he's come into form. So this could be a purple patch where, again, I know it sounds crazy. This is my Romo plan: is He bottoms out at 450. Steel bottoms out 470. They go up to maybe, let's say, 580, 590 potentially. So I've made 150k off downgrading him from a primo. I make 150k from that week, and then I make another 100k up and grab a primo like a Bont or a Butters when they come down, and sideways a Jack Steele to a Bont or a Butters.
Yeah.
Potentially. I mean, I'm wasting trade, sure. I'm getting points on field, but I'm also making money off stock market play of buying low, selling high. Or there's a huge chance that I can't upgrade Steele and he just becomes M8. But he's always scored well over the years. His knee looks a little bit better. His running a little bit better. I don't know. I just think for 470, we've seen what he can score. There's going to be players around the market that are always going to be questionable because they're that price point for a reason. But he's a guy I like to risk. Even Cripps, I said about Cripps on my stream last night, I think. And Cripps turned up. So all these players at 490 will still turn up. You're just going to be expecting you can't have 3 or 4 of these guys because they will hurt you at some point.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Is like you probably want one of these type of players where they're that little bit more risky, like that it could be a cash grab, could be a keeper. Like you kind of balance that risk out because you're like, oh, worst case, they make cash and you trade them out.
Yeah, and we've got flex as well, remember, in a position of flex. Like if you have 1 or 2 risks, you're okay. But if you've got a Dawson, a Dale, a Chad Warner, a Jack Steele, and we're talking around 18, 19, then you're playing with fire. It just the risk reward is what can I facilitate with my cash? Do I have enough cash gen to get all these top dogs? Because if you spend all your cash on the big dogs, you're going to have D6's bias. Whereas if you play value route, you won't have a single rookie by around 16 on your field.
100%. And still will be priced at 473 next week. And that's he goes to Carlton, who are shocking at the moment. Then he has West Coast, Suns, Melbourne, Bulldogs. I guess a decent run.
This is Cheese's boy. I'm pretty sure he asked Scoobs about the projections of prices for Steel. I wasn't looking at it until this week. I was like, you know what? Cheese is onto something, so I can't take credit for this Steel in. It was definitely a Cheese one that he mentioned last night, and I watched little bits of that game, and I thought, interesting pick.
Yeah, it definitely. But this is the thing with Steele, though. He's also a bit of a tackling machine.
Yeah.
Because he had 11 tackles this game, too.
Yeah, that's juicy. That's what you want to see from him. That says to me that he's feeling better with the knee, etc.
Yeah. I mean, he had 8 contested possessions, a couple clearances, only 1 clanger, which is solid. Like you see, it seems like, again, turn that corner in regards to their form. Yeah, maybe this is why Garcia's kind of made way as well, is because Jack Steele's finally finding that, because Garcia's kind of dropped a little bit. Like obviously he got an absolute blasting last week, but even Garcia had a decent game this week as well. Max Hall, the absolute missed rookie that I wish I had.
I traded him out 2 weeks ago.
There you go. There you go. Naz, I know there was a question here regarding Naz from Knack, if he was a good grab this week. I think any week Naz is a great pickup. Like he's never going to be out of reach, I believe. Like he's just that really safe pick. Like he's a safe D6 if you wanted to throw out, or D5 if you wanted to get like a more, I don't know, spikier player with a high ceiling, dismal floor in your D6. Anyone else stand out to you from the Saints?
Not really. Obviously Sinclair, because we're getting questions about him, but apart from that, not really.
So while we are talking about Sinclair, we're going to have a look at his heat maps from the last 3 rounds to see, what's changed. So we'll grab his highest score of, well, let's just say I'm going to grab his 162 and his 145. So it's round 2 and 3. So this is round 2. This is his heat map. Just take notice of that. This is round 3. So it's very much like Jesus Christ. So we can see he's getting involved like pretty much from anywhere from defensive to mid, and he's getting very involved in that transition. His low scores, this is his heat map.
Oh.
So this is round 6.
Wow.
This is round 7. and this is round 8.
Oh,
So what we're noticing with Sinclair is that my takeaway from this is he's not a part of that transition as much.
so who are they using more? Like, who's taken his position? Is there any spike scores between some sort of halfback flanker that's correlates to this, or?
Oh, this is where I want to look at Naz. So I haven't looked at this. Is the first time I'm looking at the heat maps.
Okay.
So it was. So we grabbed the latest 3 from Naz. So this is round 6. So we're seeing more spread from Naz. Sinclair was more in the right-hand pocket. This is round 7, which was just CBAs, essentially. And then this is round 8.
Can you check Brad Hill?
Let's have a look.
I want to see if I can
Bradley
find a
Hill.
trend.
So we'll grab the last 3 as well.
And then I'll look at kick-ins as well, and I'll see if that's come down or up.
So this is Brad Hill on round 6.
Okay. Yep.
Round 7.
Mm-hmm.
Round 8.
Mm.
Whereas if we look at, let me get it up. Brad Hill in round 5, it was more wing and forward. Whereas I don't think Brad Hill is.
Not the reason?
I don't think he's the reason. I think Naz is. I think Naz and Sinclair have potentially shifted roles.
But it's weird because they scored well together at the start of the year anyway, did they not? The kickouts for Sinclair came down this week. He only took 2 as opposed to 5 and 7 and 6 the previous weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 kick-ins in round 1. That's the lowest he's had since round 1 kick-ins. How about his time on ground? Let's have a look at his time on ground. There's got to be something.
Here's the kick-ins here, because he's had 2 round 1 and then only 2 in round 8. And then he's had a minimum of 4 the rest. That's interesting. Very interesting. Naz is off.
Time on ground for round 6 for the 70 was only 97 minutes, and he's normally around 105 mark. So potentially the time on ground for that Bulldogs game makes sense for the 70. And the 99, that was Brisbane anyway, and they flogged them. So you could probably just say that it's not even that. It's just more that he had a down game against Marvel. His time on ground was probably 10 minutes less than normal, hence the 70. But then this week, all the St Kilda players did decent by him. I don't know what the trend is, but I certainly wouldn't be worried because we know what he's worth as a player in Supercoach anyway.
Yeah. And the role itself, if he is getting more in that halfback role, like he's still getting kick-ins. Like, again, like when we look at those kick-ins, there was only 3 given up. It was just a low scoring game from Freo, which means there wasn't that safe floor. Like you throw in another 4 on this for Sinclair, because he was more accountable back down there, which means he's taking more of those kick-ins. Very much probably like a round 6, even though it wasn't a great score from round 6 either, but it was a safer score. That is still probably that 95-ish score that we would expect from Sinclair. So looking at this, what's your verdict? Looking at the details now and more in depth, what do you think your verdict is on Sinclair? Do you still think it's a right for the picking?
I think it is. Like you look at the disposals, he's had 20 disposals for this game currently against Freo. Maybe the marks are down, so he only had 2 marks. He went at 100% efficiency, so maybe there just wasn't enough scaling in the game. His fourth quarter, 5 disposals, third, 7. Maybe because his first and second, when the game was more on the line, he only had 4 disposals in the first quarter, and in the second he only had 4. So when the game was sort of in the balance at half time, potentially, the scaling was already projected to all these other players. Because he had 8 disposals before half time. So it's hard to tell, but Yeah, I don't know. Scaling can be affected by the amount of goals kicked too, I suppose. I don't know.
And it's
Yeah,
a shame though, because these 3 Marvel games were the ones we were expecting the biggest scores from too, because he usually plays better at Marvel.
yeah. I can't work
It's a
it out.
shame.
There's nothing that stands out to me, to be honest.
Yeah. Either way though, I think my verdict is I still think he's a great pickup for the price you get him at. He'll turn
Yeah.
it around. I don't see any issues to stay clear. He's going to be
He's
cheap.
going to be 500K by the time he gets to play West Coast, roughly.
So he had a 160 break even. He scored, let's do a quick projection. He scored an 83.
Am I wrong?
Oh, let's have a look. So he scores an 83, goes to 430, then has a break even of 530, sorry. Then has a break even of 146.
Yeah.
Let's just say he does a 115 still. You know, if he does it, let's just say he does a 95. He's going to get very close. He's going to be under 530K. Like, that's a fucking bargain.
Yep.
An absolute bargain for Jack Sinclair. And Boxall, I think, I don't want to have to go early, but he seems like the only downgrade option next week if you didn't grab Huss this week.
Yeah, probably. If you, like you said though, quote unquote, if you didn't grab Huss this week.
You 100% grab Huss next week.
Yeah, literally. Yep. That's what 100%. I'm doing next week is Huss and then Box next week.
Yep. Luke Ryan bounced back out of all players this week.
Yeah, I hate him.
And Wagner, 115, and Pierce, Cox. And then, Brayshaw and Strong didn't even get to the 90s. This is great. It means Brayshaw is going to come back down to earth. Strong's going to be cheap as chips. Those that got in Dudley, that 99K, hasn't turned out to be that bad.
Yep.
In big picture wise. Clark, the 58. Yeah, shocking. Absolutely shocking. Hayden Young, your favorite pick.
I can't believe we did a hammy. Oh my God.
I know. All right. Knack getting top 5% 2 weeks in a row. I'm climbing the ranks. At what percent overall does it get hard to keep going?
1%.
Yeah. What 1% is the one where it's like you're fighting to just stay in 1%.
Yeah.
Like you're probably happy to see a green or red in a space of 10, 20 spots, maybe.
Yeah, I'm shitting myself.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Ghosty, previewing my trades for next week. Thoughts out. Ashcroft, Pal Pepper, and Flynn. If Flynn's not playing, he'll boost him out. In Huss, Dawson, and Dunks. And then he'll still have 100 to 120 in the bank.
Wow. Yeah. I like it.
So you literally go from like 2 Rooks and a cash maker to 2 Primos.
That's juicy as. Yep.
He said he doesn't fully agree, but we'll see after Hardman goes 120. Big call.
Yeah.
CJ, currently running with Sherry and Meek in my rucks with Flynn and Flex. Should I straight swap Meek to Gawn?
No.
No, I would not. He was also at the game in Ballarat today, and the wind was definitely impacted some players scoring. Yeah. Bonnie Man could have been in for a good game if he kicked those goals, but the wind said no. Thoughts on Tingles? Has a great run home, and Dogs means are up and about. Love that saying. Up and about.
Who's Tingles?
Yeah, so who's Tingles, Matt? Surely you're not talking about Trelaw. The only person I can think of. Answer the NWN question. He also loves the Steel shout out.
Thank Cheese for that.
Jax asks, is it worth bringing a dead Rook just to loop Gawn?
Yeah, potentially, especially depending what you've projected. Like, I don't advocate for doing it. Is like if you've got a player that you know you're going to just score 130, 140 coming up, it's not worth it. But yeah, there's a huge chance that it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends what your goal is. If you're playing for overall, probably not. If you're doing a head-to-head league and you want to get ahead of your matchup, I think yes. Or if it's like if you're in the top 100 and you need it, sure. Outside of that, I probably wouldn't. Nak wants to know, do we make room for Coleman or possibly Wagner? I think maybe Coleman, if you got a rookie sitting in D5, D6, and you just want to get them off field and get Coleman in. If he proves, I would wait until he proves that he's going to be held together.
Yeah, that's right. Like you just wait for these guys to be in the bubble that are coming back from injury anyway, in case they get injured again.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we answered this question, Jack, on our verdict on Sinclair. He's also adds that he won't cop attention with McRae's current form, and I couldn't agree anymore.
Literally.
Lachlan adds, if Lewis Hayes is named, he's a good rookie shout. He should play the Ridley role. We've been trying to get him in for a while now, so it's his chance. His VFL scores this year so far are 132, 82, 118, and 88. So that's a good shout, Lockie. Really good shout.
Yep.
Fun to watch. Jack says, and he's sorry, I love the steel pick, but please, for the love of God, do not pick him. LDU, Jordan, Chad are all in that price range.
Yeah, they all are. Chad's the next week play if he scores decent against Bedford this week.
Yeah. Flynn to Rowan this week to join the Sherry Gawn party. That's actually decent. That's actually a decent setup. Tim English post buy for Flex as a pod. If he could do what he did today, man, potentially.
I don't think I'd go there.
Former All-Australian Ruck. I mean, he hasn't been that great this year overall, has he? I haven't really paid too much attention to him, I'm not going to lie.
I'm pretty sure he's been averaging like 94 or something. I don't know.
Price at 520.
What's
Is it going to go up now? Have a look. Averaging, 94 at the moment. Floor of 58 so far. Otherwise, he hasn't been too bad. So he had a really rough game against Sherry. Got demolished. But otherwise, the floor seems to be 81. Had a spike game of 166 this week. Got Witts, Goldstein, maybe. Oh, well, still, Stanley's now down, so it could be SDK if they go back to that.
What happens to Stanley?
I think it was a hamstring.
Oh, how far away is the other Ruckman?
Conway.
Yeah.
Look, mate, you expect us to know with Geelong's injury list? Come on, it's TBC. We have no idea how far away Conway is. So we're probably going to see Blitzcarves and STK come back into the Ruck scenario.
STK score? I'm not going to do it. But...
well. He did well. He played really well today. He got an 84 today.
Oh,
and that was pure defense.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think he took... did he take any hitouts? He took 2 hitouts.
Yeah, okay. It's not a play. I was going to say, maybe if he gets ruck position again at 359k, wow.
So he went 166. Let's just have a look at these projections quickly. So he's going to go up to 540, and then he's going to have a break even of 129 still. Yeah, 129. Then he goes down to a 63. Then he's going to start making a boatload of cash, potentially. So he's got a Witz, so it's going to be a tough matchup. Then he's got a Goldstein, potentially SDK, Meek, Romo, Nank. Oh, it's not the best ruck run. He's just got West Coast. Yeah, I probably wouldn't look at English.
No.
Probably wouldn't look there. Shawno, welcome in, mate. Thanks for hanging out with us. Top scorer this week, 1,700 plus again. Probably. Probably. All right. Quickly run through these ones and look to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting to that 2.5 hour mark. So, again, this game, we saw an absolute bounce back of Dawson, 156. Massive. Had 11 clearances, 6 contested possessions, which I believe is most for the team. Only 3 clangers and had 86% DE, which is a far cry from what he's been doing currently. Rankine at 138. Love
Rankine's
it.
Good.
Love it. Peatling Peatling's turned it around lately.
Are you reading the team Supercoach thing because we
Oh,
can't
I
say it on.
am. I'm not sharing it. My bad. Good
I was
shout.
confused. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so Pitley 109 has done quite well of recent, especially with
Yeah.
Crouch out. You imagine this kind of sticks.
Ooh,
Rochelle
yeah.
could be a shout if he's going to keep that mid-time. I know some people were thinking about Laird. I probably wouldn't.
I was a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Put on a sneaky Twitter poll, and he was one of them I mentioned.
there you go. There you go. What else do we have? Obviously, Draper got dropped somehow. Crazy. Lego 67 back to Earth. Thorpe. Yeah. Key forwards. Don't touch.
Yeah, that's right.
Cripps, as you said, 121. Had a nice bounce back game. Very good.
Yep.
Sard and Hewitt still tonned up, motherfucker. Obviously, we saw a Cherrett and a Walsh go in the 80s and then a decoding 80 as well.
Do you think Carlton bring in Pitt and that? Because what's the hit out difference between the two Ruckman tonight?
So we had 16 for TDK versus 40.
Ooh, this is a pedo. This is a pedo territory. My voodoo door goal is out, and I'm calling pedo in next week because I did see that TDK was playing a lot forward in the last quarter, and they played Young in the ruck. They played Harry Mackay in the ruck. TDK, you might get a pedo name next week, and guess who doesn't have him?
All that voodoo dolls. No. It's actually a good shout. It's actually a really good shout because a 14 to 40 or 16 to 40. That's like Flynn territory.
And they lost as well, so
They
there's
got
a chance.
Smashed.
Yeah, there's a chance Voss does that sort of thing with that. I'm not saying everyone jump off TDK now because he had a poor one because he still managed 80 points with 15 or 16 hitouts, which is actually pretty decent. But yeah, it's worrying for TDK if they do bring in Pitto.
Very much so. Then we had this ripper game. Darcy Karen actually is a great shout at the moment for a potential ruck pod.
Wow, Pufferfish mentioned Steel Sidebottom last night, and I said he's too old, and then he does the 109 again. What the hell?
He's been so consistent. But Darcy Cameron had a break even of 106. So it was at 544. He's gonna start making cash again. Actually towered up over the rucks tonight. Has Shrek / Jackson.
He played shit ruck anyway tonight, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. He hasn't done too bad though. 125 against Goldstein, 119 against Grundy, 164 against Keith. Oh man.
Do you think
it's not the worst?
Do you think with this ruck dilemmas, I suppose, like for me, it's Cherry Gawn, and then there's no other clear R3. I mean, before this week, it was clearly TDK, but unless you're doing a 3-man ruck setup, I don't know if another ruckman is ideal. Like it's only really Cherry and Gawn. I don't really know if you want to flex ruckman unless you're trying to make cash off it like a Rowan Marshall type. But other than that, there's a 3-headed monster. I'd rather a midfielder, an extra mid.
Yeah, you'd rather that spiky mid that can have a ceiling of 170-ish. You know,
actually,
like it's it's a good shout. But Sidebottom's are real consistent. Very much an underrated pick somehow. Ned Long outscored Dacos. You never would have seen that happen, but Ned Long, what an absolute pick that was. Houston, I don't think is really relevant this year.
Nah, he has a problem. Yep.
I think that's about it from Collingwood. Dangerfield, not really relevant Supercoach wise. He's going to get managed at some point, but fuck, he's good. Shaw Manor is one I actually gave a shout to as a potential left field cash option during the week because it actually would have paid off too.
What's his role? Because he was 400k at the start of the week. He had a couple tons back-to-back tons, I'm pretty sure, before this, didn't he?
Yeah, so he had an 83 against Melbourne, then had a low game of 43, which then shot his price down a little bit. And he's gone Yeah, now he's gone 3 tons. So he's gone 102, 109, and now 113.
What's his role?
So his role, have a look. Get it up before I show it.
Because it's interesting. Cats have got a good fixture after their buys.
So, what is his role? He's got 102. Oh, tonight's game hasn't uploaded just yet. But these are his last 2 games. So forward. It's like that high half forward, I suppose. And this is round 7.
Hmm.
So he's
Did
just
he get
been
any CBAs?
no. So if we look at this, 0 CBAs. But he had 0 goals tonight. Sorry, this was last week. So even last week, 0 goals. Still scored a 109. DE was absolutely horrible. He had 11 tackles though. And this is probably the good thing about him is that he is a bit of a tackler.
Yeah.
Like if he cleans up this DE though, what was his contested possession? He had 10.
What's his time on ground? Is his time on ground decent as well? Or was it
Time on
96?
ground, 86, 90. And then for tonight, it was 82. So it's sitting around the 80s.
Yeah, okay. So, in the Hawthorn game, he had 114 minutes, and the Carlton game, 108 minutes. So he does got a good time on ground. I get you.
Yeah.
Um,
He'll have a break even. So what he scored 113. Let me share this. He had a not a 300. Imagine that.
because of his tackle numbers, that's what it is. He's got to have at least 20 disposals and over 5 tackles to do it. It's doable. Like, I don't hate it. He's probably not top 6.
You wouldn't go there. You wouldn't go there, but if you were really desperate for something different,
yeah,
would have worked out. Holmes 94, as most people have said, bit of a hard watch at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Really about it.
Holmes is going to be one of those players that's so cheap that you could use as your D7 M9 at like 450k in a few weeks' time. That would be tempting just because his fixture opens up after the buys. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's already 525, had a break even of 159. Yeah, and he scored a 94. Oh, let's just get this down to a 94. Still has a 140. Yeah, he's gonna drop past. Yeah, he's gonna get to that 480, 470 mark for sure.
Wow,
that's cheap. Cheap as chips.
Because he's got the defender status, that's what's tempting. Like if you had if you had El Houli in your back line at for D8 and you needed to cover a primo going down for a week, he'd be your guy you could plop straight on without having to field a rookie. So that's definitely a play I'll consider that, I reckon.
Yeah, he's definitely a big watch for me. Just because, as you mentioned, that run opens up a little bit too after the bye. So it'll be cheap. We're very cheap. And then last game before we take any final questions, ladies and gents, so make sure you guys get any final questions or anything in. I know Jack has mentioned he wants to discuss mids, which we will make our last little bit. But your man, the Teemu Zorko, 131.
You mean Zorko is the Teemu Marek?
Well, yeah, at this point, that is very much it. 131, 26 disposals. Even had some contested possessions. Jesus.
I'm pretty sure he was on 80 at halftime, by the way.
Yeah, I got massive first half too. Everyone was expecting it to slow down, and then just never did. I mean, obviously it's not the 160, so it didn't replicate it, but to keep that momentum going. I mean, McGovern went out as well.
It actually hurt his scoring when McGovern went out because McGovern was playing like accountable and then kicking it to him, whereas Marek then had to actually defend for once in his life.
Yeah, true. Interesting. Then Elijah Hewitt, 91. So very solid rookie scores. Pretty consistently now too. And then you said you look like Brockman. Is that who you look like?
That's what the missus reckon. I'm like, I don't look anything like Brockman, but Misso, I don't know. She hasn't had any bevs, so I don't know what the go is there.
He's being compared to Petrarca and Brockman. It's been a rough night for you.
No, I compared myself to Petrarca, and she shot that out the window.
Look at Jesus God.
Imagine paying up for him now. My God. What a miss.
Jeez. This is why we love you, mate.
Oh,
look, outside of that, Bo Allen, 36. Not looking like a trade-in target at all. Flynn, 53. Probably going to get dropped. Had 22 hit-outs compared to the Gawn at 47. Scored a 198. Disgusting. 35 disposals.
I love that I captained him this week too. Such a good captain.
Yeah. I love it. 22 contested possessions. Like, seriously. Had the most clearances. This is the Ruckman. That is crazy.
Guess how much he's owned by the way?
In overall?
Yeah, overall.
I don't know, like 27%?
21% owned is Gawn.
Jesus.
Like, what the actual fuck is wrong with people? Excuse me, but like, wow, we're talking about
Gawn. You can swear. It is after dark, mate. I've sworn so many times on this stream.
Yeah, but when I go elsewhere, I'm generally pretty all right. But wow, Gawn, 21% owned. I know everyone went Cherry at 53 or 55%, whatever the hell he is, but you can't bring him in now.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't trade into him now or anything like that. Don't do it. Tracker 129, solid. What I want to see on debut, very good.
Same. What a good trade in that was too this week. I was overthinking this the whole week.
You were, just ever so slightly, but again, that break-even game. I mean, again, you would have won either way, really.
Yeah.
So can't lose if you're picking out Track and Dawson, really. Langford's been a nice sneaky rookie, 98.
Yeah.
Rivers, anyone who traded him in, did not do good. Bowie, again, down game.
Yeah.
Lindsay, 56. Not great.
That hurts.
That does hurt. He's still making cash, though. He had a break even of 1.
I could have fielded Hewitt instead, so I missed that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't. I thought Hewitt maybe time on ground was going to be low. I don't know. Melbourne are going to dominate the clearances, etc.
Yeah. And there's no one else from Melbourne to really talk about.
Yeah.
So let's get into these last little questions. So Jack does want a little conversation around top mids. And he just says, just off the top of your head, outside of Bomb, Butters, and Dacos. I think Merritt's definitely there.
Yeah, I still think Brayshaw is definitely there.
There you go. You got Merritt and Brayshaw as 2 others that you could throw in there.
Far out, actually. Lockie Neal, I think. I know there's going to be tags coming, but I think he's got a good run, so I think he'll be amongst it from here on out.
Yep.
George Hewitt.
Mm-hmm.
Then throw a blanket over about 10 other players around the mark. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I still agree. I think that the Merritt and Brayshaw are probably your most likely candidates, even a Hewitt.
Definitely.
Yeah, I probably agree with Brad there. And then she says, "Yeah, I might have to miss Bo Allen as a loop if he's going to give me that shit." Yeah, potentially. And last question of the night, ladies and gentlemen, can we get Track next week? Now he's going to be priced at. Let me have a quick projection here around the 522 mark. I still think he's viable at 522.
Yeah, I think he still is as well, 100%.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for tuning into probably a more mellow session of After Dark, which I think after the roller coaster that was last week, probably needed because last week was pretty hectic. All right. Brad, when can the people find you?
Yeah, on YouTube, I'm just Supercoach Pro, as my title is. Yeah, just do streams with yourself and weekly videos of how my side's progressing. And then if you want to find me on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, it's Supercoach Pro 91. But YouTube's different. YouTube's just Supercoach Pro without the 91 on the end of it. So that's where you can find me. But again, thanks for having me for After Dark again.
Always a pleasure, mate. Also love the banter and everything that you bring. So, as I said, Nighthawk and Dragon. Anyone who has a touch on the pop culture will get that reference. So, thank you for everyone that did tune in at some point tonight. If you stung around for the whole stream, or if you just fell asleep watching us, hopefully we didn't give you too many nightmares. But again, make sure you like the stream before you head out. Make sure you subscribe to both Brad and myself. Again, you can follow Brad on X, and you can follow myself there at Rookie Coach AFL. We'll have both our review videos coming out at some point this week. Make sure you go check out Brad's, as there will be some facelifting. So there'll be some new stuff coming Brad's way. So make sure you go check that out when it drops. Outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, good luck for the scoring tomorrow. I hope we all have a ripper end of a Supercoach week. And I'm keen for sleep, I'll be honest. It's now hit me. I'm ready to go to bed.
Enjoy your night then.
Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all soon.